In every race, there's a car to beat. Today it's mine.
Last week I was a big winner, but this week starting 13th, I guarantee I got my work cut out for me, but I'm going to give it my best shot.
Coverage of the Richmond 400 is brought to you by Dodge, a front-wheel drive revolution, a turbocharged revolution, a performance revolution, Dodge, an American revolution, and by Stroh's and Stroh Light, fire brewed for smoother taste, and by Cable News Network and CNN Headline News.
We're live from Richmond, Virginia's Fairground Speedway, where the superstars of stock car racing are about to begin their season in earnest. Just 7 days and 700 miles away from the glamour and glory of the Daytona 500, Richmond's Grand National Short Track is a different world. Here the gloves come off. The bare knuckles brawl for the Winston Cup Championship gets serious. 9 months and 29 races from now, the new king of stock car racing will be crowned right here on WTBS. Today, every Charger who dreams of that crown is lined up in Richmond, ready to bend as many fenders as it takes to win that championship. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Despain of the STP Pit Communications Center. For over 30 years, dating back to the days when this track was dirt, a loyal army of fans has marched on Richmond each February. Today, they've come in record numbers, the biggest crowd ever for the first Grand National Short Track of the year, and we asked them what they expect to see. Where are you from?
North Carolina.
What do you come up here for Richmond for?
To watch Richard Petty win. What do you think? I'll come up and watch this glorious race. This is a big thing in Richmond.
How long you been coming out to the races here?
27 years.
Got a favorite?
Bobby Allison.
How long you been coming out to the races here?
All my life.
You like them?
Yeah.
Who you root for?
Anybody.
What do you come to the races here for?
$23 a pop.
Well, to a man, the drivers and pit crews in this race agree that a new tire-changing rule is going to be the key to victory. Now, in the old days, under a yellow flag pit stop, the crews would often change 4 tires. But the new rule says you can only change 2 tires under a yellow stop. The reason is the officials are trying to hold down the high cost of racing. To tell us exactly what this all means, well, who's better qualified than a former Richmond winner, former Daytona 500 winner, former Grand National champion? Our expert commentator today is Benny Parkson.
The tire rule today and in the near future is going to really affect strategy. Communication between the crew and driver is now going to become more critical than ever. Last week, tire changing was automatic. If the race car wasn't handling properly, you changed 4 tires, adjusted the chassis a couple of times, and the driver could count on having pretty close to the proper setup. Replacing only 2 tires dramatically changes all that. Now, which side is changed makes a tremendous difference in the chassis setup. Fresh right sides tend to make the car push it or not turn as well in the turns, and Richmond is 75% turns. Left side tires make the car loose. Loose means the car is trying to spin out in the turns. Now we also have a whole new set of possibilities. What happens if you change one front and a rear on the other side? Dave, we may find out today about this. We'll sure be watching. And now it's my immediate pleasure to introduce to you the voice of motorsports, Ken Squire.
Well, thank you very much, Benny. There's a lot more up in the wind today. This track is different. Back on November 15th, 84, promoter Paul Sawyer decided to put a sealer on this track, an oil sealer, but he added one element, a rubber base that would make for better adhesion. Now, does it work? Let me tell you, it works. 9 cars, and it could have been 10, broke the track record in qualifying for this Richmond 400. 95.218 miles per hour is the new mark, 93 the old. Darrell Waltrip's still there. But Bodine and Bonnet and Earnhardt and Allison and Wallace and Gant and Bouchard and Labonte, they also broke the record. The top Ford is back in 10th spot. He was just a smidgen off Kyle Petty. And there was one other car that could have broken that record. That was the car that won the race a year ago, the Bud Moore car, number 15. The driver, Ricky Rudd, just too much going into turn number 2, slid, collected the wall in turn number 2, and had to come back and attempt qualifying the next day. So Ricky Rudd will be starting 21st on the grid today, and with him right now is Glenn Jarrett.
Thank you, Ken Squire. Ricky, in last year's race, a little different situation. You started on the second row, went on to win the race. What do you feel like your strategy is going to have to be today, starting from 21st position?
Well, I'm just going to have to get up front in a hurry. The car is running awfully good. We had a good opportunity to win the pole. I got a little over anxious and crashed the car over there during qualifying. And anyway, the car is back to driving good. I just have to get to the front without getting a lap here in the early goings of the race.
Do you feel like that the tire rule, the new tire rule, is going to affect your strategy?
Well, it's going to be interesting. The most thing that I have to worry about is the top of the racetrack. It's got the asphalt sealer on it. My success has come pretty much in the past here from running the high side of the racetrack, so that's going to be a pretty big concern with me.
Okay, thank you very much, Ricky Rudd, and good luck.
Thank you.
Now let's meet the man from the North Georgia mountains who's been a headline story in every nook and cranny of America this week. Jerry Garrett is standing by with Daytona 500 champion Bill Elliott.
Bill, you were a hero a week ago at the Daytona 500. You're just one of the boys today, though.
Well, I think it's a little different deal here. You know, most of the short tracks we usually have a hard time on it. Darrell always runs well here, and we got our work cut out for us, believe me.
Now, Fords haven't traditionally, last couple of years anyway, done well in the short tracks, but a Ford won this race last year. Can you do it today?
Well, I think the car's in good shape. If there's a lot of different circumstances this time, they've changed the track a little bit. It's got a new sealer on it. We've got a Goodyear's come out with a new tire. And there's a lot of things different. I think a lot of people have trouble during the day, you know, worrying about what the track's going to do, how it's going to change. So it's going to be a very interesting race.
Now, your Ford efforts on short tracks haven't really done too well so far. Is your qualifying position an indication of how competitive you're going to be today?
Well, I think it will be. You know, everybody involved, but still it's going to determine how quick Darrell gets away and sets a pace, and if you can get through traffic and not get a lap down before you get out of traffic.
Now, you want to win the national championship. Do you have to win the short tracks to do that?
Yes, I think short tracks are a definite place you've got to win and be consistent at.
Well, counting on a good performance here today, Daytona 500 winner, Bill Elliott.
Our in-car camera today is riding with Phil Parsons, leading candidate, who's starting well back in this 30-car field. His car will be coming out of the 27th starting position in today's race. Let's see if we can get a word with him now. Phil Parsons, are you there? In car number 17.
10-4, Ken.
Well, what about today's race? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel that you can roll up through this field and get yourself a good finish?
Really well in practice, not better than we qualified, but, you know, Richmond's a tough place to pass on. I believe if I can, you know, stay clean and work my way up to the front, we'll be all right.
Well, Phil, this is Benny. My suggestion to you is get a good start and stay on the inside. Whatever you do, stay on the inside.
10-4, BP.
Let's go back to the STP Pit Center and Dave Despain.
Ken, with the new surface we have on the racetrack and the new tire rule, we might see more fender smashing here today than in Cannonball Run. Producer Hal Needham's Bust 'em, Bash 'em Hollywood epic of a few years ago. Hal's a Grand National car owner. He owns Harry Gant's machine. And Hal, I want to know what you're expecting to see out here today.
Well, I think you kind of hit it right on the nose. I think there's a possibility that we might see a lot of cars getting into the fences and things. I listened to Kenley earlier, and I'm not sure I agree with him because I've been listening to some of the crew chiefs down there about this new surface. Right now, true, we set new track records, but the thing of it is it going to hold up for the whole race? About halfway through this race, there's a great possibility, according to what my sneaking around gets me down the pits, that it may wear off and those cars may get loose and they may be like on roller skates down there.
When you've got $60,000 wrapped up in the race car, Hal, what do you tell your driver when he heads into a 400-lap battle like this?
Go to the front and stay there.
Hal Needham, the producer of Cannonball Run. We're going to have a tremendous amount of action in the Richmond 400. Stand by. It's coming your way right after this.
Presenting beauty in motion. The revolutionary Dodge Lancer. Its fluid lines are graceful. Captivating. Its sleek body glides through the wind. Lancer's entrances and exits are unbelievable. Its interior spacious, with virtually every comfort and electronic convenience available. And if all this beauty doesn't move you, the rhythmic beat of Lancer's engine will. Fuel injected with optional turbocharger. Dodge Lancer, because performance is everything.
I'd sure like another Stroh's. Oh, wait. Alex? 2 cold Stroh's. Where do you see this? Just open the refrigerator. Just open one bottle. Just open the other. Now he's pouring yours. Now he's pouring mine. Alex, you better be drinking your water.
Stroh's and Stroh Light, fire brewed for smoother taste.
Just hear the stock cars rolling down that high bank track. Better keep your eye on number 5, cause he ain't looking back. That's Levi Garrett.
Jeff Bodine.
Coming through.
And Harry Hyde.
Taste that flavor coming through for you. Time after time, the quality comes through. That's why Levi Garrett is the brand I'm proud to choose. Levi Garrett.
The field has been fired for the Richmond 400. Let's go down to the front row. We're here with pole position winner Darrell Waltrip. Darrell, what's your recipe for winning this race?
Well, you add a cup of handling, a cup of horsepower, a cup of crew, and the grace of the good Lord, and you'll all rise together in victory circle. Over with the outside pole sitter, Glenn Jarrett.
Jeff, you were one of the most dominant cars at the end of last season, ran very well on the short track. What's your strategy for today's race?
My strategy is to try to stay out here, finish this race, run up front. It's going to be a good race. Let's hope it is. We got to go.
Okay, thank you. Now let's go up to Ken Squire to set the rest of the field.
For the third straight time, Darrell Waltrip's on the pole. Second here last year. He's the 1980 and 81 winner. And beside him comes the Chevrolet of Rick Hendrick out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Jeff Bodine, the driver. In row 2, Neil Bonnet seeking his 14th Grand National win in the second Junior Johnson car. And the Richard Childress, number 3 for Dale Earnhardt, second in 83. Row 3 is Bobby Allison, the 74 and 83 winner. And alongside the 1984 Rookie of the Year, Rusty Wallace. Row 4, it's Harry Gant, winner of 6 Grand National races, 5th year in 83, and Ron Bouchard. Row 5, Terry Labonte, defending Grand National champion, 3rd here a year ago, and the first Ford in the field, Kyle Petty. For row 6 today, Lake Speed in his Pontiac, 2nd in the 85 Daytona 500, and Richard Petty, the all-time champ. Row 7, it's Bill Elliott, winner of the Daytona 585, and Tim Richmond. Going to row 8, the Virginian Lenny Pond and Dave Marcus, who was a 2-time winner here. For row 9, Butch Lindley is back in Grand National Racing, and Ronnie Thomas. Row 10, Buddy Baker with his own team, and Bobby Hillen out of Texas. In row 11, it's Ricky Rudd, who won this race a year ago, and Jimmy Means from Alabama. In row 12, Ken Schrader, the Judy Donlevy car, and Clark Dwyer from Colorado. Row 13, Bill Parsons with our onboard camera, and Trevor Boyce of Canada. Row 14, J.D. McDuffie and Rick Newsom. Row 15, a couple of changes in drivers here. Phil Good in the Buddy Arrington car, and the Greg Sachs number 51, it'll be Cecil Gordon. Ladies and gentlemen, the start of the Richmond 400 live on Superstation WTBS with David Spain, Jerry Garrett, Glenn Jarrett, I'm Ken Squire, and the race is underway into turn 1. Jumping out in front on the start, it's number 11, Waltrip for the lead. Tucking into second spot goes the man who dominated on the short track. Number 5, Jefferson Bodine is there. Then comes Neil Bonnet, the hard luck driver at Daytona a week ago. Sideways, white car bouncing off the wall. Rick Newsom's number 20 slams the wall at turn number 3. Rick Newsom in the very first lap, Benny, didn't even get it into the third turn.
Didn't even get past the first lap. Looks like the right rear tire is flat, Ken, and possibly going in the third corner. He cut the right rear tire down and spun and hit the fence. He really did a cartwheel on top of that fence. The caution flag is out.
1 lap down, out of 400. They're coming around to complete 2 this time with Darrell Waltrip. Remember, he's a 2-time winner here. Has sat on the pole 3 straight times for this event. Darrell was saying before the race, he said, you know, the new surface, the sealer, makes the track faster, but doesn't take out any of the bumps.
It doesn't take any of the bumps. All they do is just preserve the asphalt that's there. And I think, I agree with Hal Needham. I think that 200 laps into this race, that the surface is going to get slick. I think the cars are really going to start losing the back end off these corners.
Well, if it gets to be that, they'll look like champions in a log rolling contest out here in this half-mile track, trying to stay up on it because it gets very slippery.
Ken, this racetrack, the changes in this racetrack, as we watch Rick Newsom's car limping toward pit road, are a very great part of the tradition and the history of Richmond. It's a very mysterious surface, and last year, if you recall our telecast of this race, the key to victory was to find the combination of chassis handling and the line on the racetrack that would get you around most quickly. The mystery is compounded this year by 2 things. One is the new sealer. Nobody knows how it's going to hold up. As Benny said, it may very well change during the course of the race, and the line will move. And secondly is that tire rule that we're going to hear so much about today. Too early on this yellow flag to have any real strategy decisions, but you can bet those pit crews are going to have their busiest afternoon of the 1985 season right here.
The one thing I noticed interesting on the first lap, Ken, off the 4th corner, Dale Earnhardt got extremely loose. The car almost spun. And if it's that bad on the first lap, we're going to have a lot of problems before the day's over.
Rick Newsom saw him on pit road. Those Chevrolets light up and they get off these corners, but those Fords, if it gets slippery, will grind you down before it's over. Now there's the number 3 car that had trouble out of the 4th turn. Dale Earnhardt had it sideways, gathered it back up to stay up in the 4th position. Bobby Allison 5th, Rusty Wallace 6th. Be focusing a little here on the top on car number 15, Ricky Rudd, out of that 21st position, tucked right in behind Buddy Baker as they get set. Probably a lap or 2 from now to go back under green. Waltrip up in front to be a new father. Not November, but come Rockingham in the fall. That's the way they figure it.
October the 15th, Stevie told me yesterday. It's the expected date.
That's a new date. She was telling me the other day they thought it was right on Rockingham. Yeah, that's true. October 15th, will hit it right on the slot.
They
going to name his, I understood it was a boy, they're going to name him Winston.
And his middle name is Cup.
That's right.
Rick Newsom must have hit the fence with some pretty good force over because they've got the record trying to bend the guardrail back where he met the guardrail.
Back straight away, the field meandering down through to complete 5 laps when they come by this time, and only 1 under green. And there you see them working on the fence outside of turn 3.
Jeff Bodine got a break on the start of the race. The outside pole is not really a good spot at Richmond, but he got an excellent start.
We'll be back with more live on Superstation WTBS from Richmond after these messages.
Daytona Turbo Z. It is an American revolution. This bud's for everyone who's got what it takes to make his own brakes.
Are we on? This is Paul Martinez reporting to you from the International Airport.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
From the International Airport, this is Paul Martinez reporting. Thank you, Paul, and welcome to the news team.
Paul Martinez, my son.
Ollie, if you don't hurry, I'll miss my plane.
Well, I'm doing the best I can in this terrible rain.
Would a new set of Vanco wiper blades help?
Certainly. Put them on.
Change to Anco. They clean better than any other blade. Test proven.
There, now I can see an airplane. Airplane!
Don't worry, Ollie. It wasn't mine. That's mine.
Anco. The best blades you can buy. Test proven.
Different people have different kinds of coughs. A dry cough, a cough that keeps you awake, a cough with a stuffed-up nose. And some people have a combination of symptoms. That's why there are 4 different kinds of Robitussin. Each contains an expectorant to help loosen phlegm, one a cough suppressant to quiet coughs, one adds a decongestant to relieve stuffy nose. One combines all these relief actions. 4 different Robitussin cough medicines for different kinds of coughs. Which Robitussin should you take? Ask your doctor or pharmacist.
From the Skoll helicopter, I believe there's 1 lap to go. You get a view of the Richmond Fairgrounds, this half-mile track where a record crowd has congregated to see the second race of 1985 on the $10 million series. And there you see some of the tremendous throng that has gathered to see these superstars of American stock car racing really back in their home environs. 1 lap, and we'll be getting a green flag, they say. There's Bobby Allison swinging around with his car number 22, getting set for a go here. He's a 2-time winner on this track, hoping for a really good run today. Field getting set. Light is off on the pace car as we prepare for the restart. Allison in 5th spot. All right, the field is back at 3 where Rick Newsom had trouble. They continue to work on Newsom's car on pit road behind the wall. The pace car comes in. There are 8 laps complete. 9 they come to the line this time. Waltrip comes off first. Bodine in 2nd. Bonnet in 3rd. Dale Earnhardt is in 4th as they approach turn 1. In the 5th spot, Bobby Allison, followed by the number 2, Rusty Wallace, rookie of the year last year. Next, and then comes Harry Gant. Everybody kind of feeling it out here in the early going.
This has got to be the best start that Rusty Wallace has had in the Fairgrounds race. I think he will drive. In this field at Richmond Fairgrounds Raceway, starting 6th, mighty good accomplishment.
There's trying to get a shot at moving up through is Ricky Rudd in the early going. We're back with the leader, Darrell Waltrip, as he approaches turn number 3. And he gets about a 3-car length jump. And there you see car number 15 trying to close in on Butch Lindley with a new team this year. Ricky Rudd, number 15, last year's winner, having to fight his way out of the back in the Bud Moore Ford. He's already jumped by Baker on that restart. Picked up 1 as he continues to work on the tail end of Butch Lindley's car. The leader drawing away, now leading by 4 car lengths. Here's the battle, back further in the field. Ricky Rudd trying to plow his way through traffic and find himself someplace to go. You see Marcus, number 71, the blue car, just in front of Lindley. Onto the outside goes Ricky Rudd, where he crashed into attempting to qualify. Here we are with Butch Lindley, and here comes Ricky Rudd, still trying to move through on this very tight half-mile track. 40 feet wide on the front straightaway, 60 feet wide on the back stretch. It's only about 660 feet long. Whoa! A little slide there by Lindley, and trying to go down the inside. Right there, taking the spot down to the bottom. Ricky Rudd picks up that spot.
Ricky Rudd to the last lap, right it on the outside in turn 1. It won't work this early in the race because the groove or the fast way around is right on the bottom. But it will work later on in the race.
16th position now for car number 15. Ricky Rudd. There you see the leader, and there you see the interval back to 2nd and 3rd. There's Bodine, number 5, the Hendrick car, paired by Harry Hyde, running in 2nd, and right behind him comes Bonnet, lurking in 3rd.
I think that Bodine is strong.
Spinner, number 41, Ronnie Thomas. Ronnie Thomas on the back straightaway from Christiansburg, Virginia. Loops, number 41. Glenn Jarrett drove that car a week ago down on pit road for us today. Number 41 coming to a halt. Apparently he's going to be able to pick it up and keep on trucking here. Laps complete. Stand at 15 on the leaders. With Waltrip on the point. He's drawn away to about a 5-car length advantage as Ronnie Thomas, an independent, son of the famed Jabe Thomas in racing. There you see J.D. McDuffie's number 70, new sponsorship this year, getting back into this thing. Are you surprised at how Waltrip walked away? He did more work in qualifying to get that car to handle and set that new record by 2 miles an hour than I think anybody here.
I was surprised. I really was. I thought Jeff Bodine in 1985 would probably dominate the short racetracks, but Darrell Waltrip came to Richmond and again set on the pole. And he was leaving Jeff Bodine, but as I started to say, I think that Bodine's strong suit is going to be the last lap of the race, not the first half.
Let's go to Jerry Garrett.
Rick Newsom, you're involved in the crash there at the start of the race. What happened? I think the locker broke in the rear end. It just jumped sideways when I got out of the throttle going in the corner over there. Can you repair the car and get it out there? I don't think so. It's bent pretty bad up underneath. It got up on top of the guardrail and bent the trailing arms and stuff on it, so I don't think we're going to get it fixed.
Okay, one car out already. And on pit road is Ronnie Thomas, and just behind him, a surprise. Number 88, Buddy Baker, is pitting, too. Baker, number 88, is on pit road. Remember, he did a great job at Daytona last week with his own team. There's the 41 coming out, and the Baker car still on pit road. Let's see if he'll go a lap down. They're still working on Baker's car. Here's 41 coming on the track. Now 88 is pulling on the track, and Baker comes back on, does not lose a lap. One more lap and they'll turn him loose.
I can't imagine what his problem was. They did raise the hood, look under there, and someone got inside the car with Buddy and was looking around inside the car. And you're right. Last week at Daytona, a super job by Buddy Baker.
As this field prepares to regroup, an interesting story on the lead car, Darrell Waltrip. Benny Parsons told us about it yesterday on Motor Week. So much focus in 1985 on new equipment, new technology, new hardware for these weekly wars. Darrell Waltrip is out there with a 2.5-year-old race car. He says on paper the engineers can build a car that's 10 miles an hour faster. But we take this baby to the racetrack, and week in, week out, it's the best horse out there. The lead car, Darrell Waltrip, dominant in the early running. Remember, he led 365 laps of this race a year ago, and then they ran out of tires. They didn't bring enough tires to the racetrack. They had to run on old tires, and he paid it.
Back under green with 18 laps complete. Field assembled with one car retired thus far. Rick Newsom from the event. Bonnet takes a quick stab at Jeff Bodine, the number 5 car, as he gets into number 3. Little lower line there. And number 3, Earnhardt, and that Richard Childress car looks good. Two teams that have really worked hard for the half mile this year. The Elliott family and that Travis Carter prepared, number 33. They spent a lot of the winter working on nothing but their short track program in an effort. Hey, here's Baker pulling back on pit road. Something really amiss on Buddy Baker's car.
The car seemed to be running awfully slow when it come to the pits. It looked like it didn't have all of its power.
Glenn Jarrett, what's happening down there?
Check with Robert Harrington, the crew chief on that car. He does have an ignition problem. Buddy Baker does have an ignition problem with his car.
And he comes out and immediately goes another lap down. The battle up in front. Battle is for second place. Bodine is there. But definitely the car that seems to have the horses that can tap him in the back all the time is the Bonnet car, and with him comes Earnhardt. And they're willing to spare nothing in these races. They will use up the side of those cars, like Bonnet sticking his nose down inside of Bodine on these half miles. This is just about an easy ride for them as compared to those 200-mile-an-hour dangerous trips of a week ago.
Neil Bonnet's car, the 12 car, is a sister car to the 11 of Darrell Waltrip. So basically, they ought to be fairly equal. And I think that if Neil Bonnet could get by Jeff Bodine, he would be able to run right with Darrell Waltrip.
Ricky Rudd is trying to do some running out of the back of the pack on the 71 Marcus. Meanwhile, right back here at second position again. And look at Bonnet skirting the inside, trying to find some running room down to the bottom. Gets a little more fight on the inside. Car number 15 getting around the Marcus car, 71. Now here's Dave Marcus right back in there again, and Butch Lindsey. That was a good three-way battle further back in the field as they fight for the 15th position overall. And right now that position goes to number 15, Rudd, who had started 21st today.
Dave Marcus is not going to let Butch Lindsey have anything easy. That Butch Lindsey car is a brand new team. This is the first race for that team.
12-car length advantage as Waltrip continues to pull away. And he is about to put a lap on car number 67. One of the new runners, Phil Good, driving the Chrysler product, has the Buddy Arrington mark on it. There's 71. Marcus working a little on Butch Lindley as they fight in 16th position, further back in the field. Whoop, little drop kick there. Give it to him again.
Yeah, just make sure he understood. He gave him another one.
That bother you when they begin banging on the rear bumper?
Well, it does, particularly when he gets the car sideways and you think you're not going to be able to save it.
Let's go to Jerry Garrett in the garage area to look at the leaders.
We're down here with Buddy Baker, who's just come in off the track. Buddy, what's wrong with the car?
I don't know. Something happened to the ignition. I don't really know. It just quit running down the straightaway. First couple laps, the car felt pretty good, but I don't know whether we fixed it or not. The alternator's dead and the battery's dead.
Team's still working on it.
Attrition is building early. Cecil Gordon is parked number 51. That is the Greg Sachs car. Greg is not here after that great run he made at Daytona a week ago. He's home in New York sick. So Cecil Gordon stepped in, and already an engine problem is reported there. And Buddy Baker could become the third retiree. And now look at that interval as Waltrip in number 11 goes for his third Richmond 400 win. There's Bodine in second. Bond is number 12, maintaining third. Earnhardt stays right there in the fourth position, and Bobby Allison hangs in fifth. The sixth spot overall is Rusty Wallace. Seventh is King. Eighth is Kyle Petty. Ninth is Bouchard. 10th is Labonte. 11th is Lake Speed. And having picked up one spot from the start, in 12th position, number 9, Bill Elliott. Then comes Tim Richmond in 13th. Running 14th is Richard Petty, pretty much by himself. And 10 car lengths behind Petty is number 15, Ricky Rudd, who's knocked off 6 spots. We are now 30 laps into the race.
Second spot. Great battle here, but it is the race for second spot that Bodine and Bonnet and the rest are occupied with. Why is Darrell Waltrip able to pull away so early in the event? The guess from here in the pit center would be the right combination, the right tire setup for the early running. Nobody knows how to prepare a short track car like Junior Johnson. That number 12, the Neil Bonnet machine, as many mentioned, a sister car. As he makes a run and gets himself sideways and will fall from second to fourth. Bonnet tried the inside on Bodine, slips the car sideways. Bodine got away. Earnhardt gets by, and suddenly Neil Bonnet is fourth. The point here, Junior Johnson knows how to make short track cars. His cars are running first and fourth.
Bodine simply not willing to give up anything on an inside. He wasn't going to move over a bit. And poor Bonnet got pinned in there, got pinched down on the bottom, and you saw the result of that. That puts Earnhardt in the number 3. Here is Dale Earnhardt working away up into the third spot, and back in the fourth position now is Neil Bonnet for Bobby Allison. His old pedagogue running in the fifth spot. Let's see if Earnhardt can make a move on Bodine. They're all taking a shot at him. They look like the second, third, and fourth place cars have as much or more than the 5 car. But Bodine, he's used to this short track business. And in these kind of wars, he will not let you through if there's any way to stop. Look at Earnhardt. Bang away on him here.
He pushed him just a little bit to make sure he realized he was back there and, in fact, outrunning him through the turns.
You're watching it live. There on the inside goes Earnhardt at number 3. And there you got a couple of half-mile warriors working each other over. And it is Dale Earnhardt down the inside. Never won this race, but he's come close a couple of years ago in the second place finisher. Now he's up there in second spot and goes looking for Waltrip. One of the things about Waltrip is although they didn't make many spring adjustments, they changed those new gas-filled shocks consistently, time after time, in trying to qualify and break that record, and then break it they really did.
Well, that's a new innovation, the gas-filled shocks, and who knows what it really takes to use at Richmond, which shocks are really the ones that are the best. Waltrip is pulling away right now.
Yesterday on Motor Weekend, my pick to win this race was that man, Dale Earnhardt, and the reason is the move you just saw him put on Jeff Bodine. I don't think there's a driver in the business who tackles the short track more aggressively than does that man. Meanwhile, Neil Bonnet back here in the second. Here is Bill Elliott, hooked up with number 44. That's your Grand National champion, Terry Labonte.
That's the battle for 10th position right there. Terry Labonte at number 44. Lake Speed at number 75 runs right with him in the 11th position. And they're having their own go at it. And then you see Bill Elliott now running at 12th. He's picked up one spot as they continue to do the bump and run here. As you see it live on Superstation WTBS. Race number 2 in the $10 million plus series, the Winston Cup Series for 19. And here's Elliott down on the inside for 1985. This is where the racing began in Grand National, and in Richmond, Virginia, a sellout crowd, biggest in history, is enjoying this great competition. Now there you see Labonte, the 44 car, then Lake Speed in 75, who had that brilliant second place at Daytona a week ago. And right behind him comes Bill Elliott in the 9. Then the leader, number 11, Waltrip, continues to draw away. Boy, he is consistent on these laps. Every lap just as methodical as the one before.
But Dale Earnhardt is gaining. Earnhardt is really coming in. When he got that car sideways on the first lap, Ken, I said he is in a lot of trouble. But right now, everybody else is in trouble.
You see the view into turn number 1. There are 40 laps now complete. There's your leader. Now you're back with car number 11, lapping car number 98 as he tries to move through some of the traffic.
It's Trevor Boyes, the boy from Canada.
There's Bobby Allison in car number 22, who is scooted around number 5, Bodine. Handle seems to be going away a bit there.
Very unusual, Ken. It's very unusual that Bodine is this bad this early.
Up to fourth moves number 22, Allison. In fifth is number 5, Bodine. In sixth is number 33, Gann. You really don't want to show too much this early, do you?
Well, not really. This racetrack historically, if you really ran well early on, the last 200 laps, you were not that good. But who knows with the sealer? Again, one of the mysteries that Dave Despain talked about early on in the show.
And the tire rule will come into play much later. We'll be back with more from Richmond Fairgrounds as car number 11 continues to lead from our Skoal helicopter. There you see this gigantic house.
Presenting beauty in motion, the Dodge Lancer. Its fluid lines are graceful, captivating. Its sleek body glides through the wind. Dodge Lancer. With room, space, and virtually every electronic convenience available. And Lancer has a fuel-injected engine with optional turbocharger, so you'll know what to expect. Great performance.
Nothing speaks with a louder voice than pure, simple fact. Case in point, some people would have you believe Wonder's white nothing and whole wheat's the only nourishing bread ever baked. Hogwash. Enriched white bread like Wonder has as much thiamine, niacin, and iron as whole wheat. The FDA set the standards. So if you love Wonder, and I have since I was 2, check the facts, relax, and eat your Wonder.
Wonder Bread, a simple fact of good nutrition. Introducing extra sugar-free gum from Wrigley's.
Extra flavor, extra fun in a sugar-free gum.
Extra. Wrigley's new sugar-free gum with NutraSweet gives you extra refreshing flavor that lasts an extra, extra, extra long time.
Extra flavor for that extra long haul. Extra flavor for that extra long haul. Wrigley's Extra, the extra fresh flavor lasts an extra, extra, extra long time.
Try extra sugar-free gum from Wrigley's.
This bud's to everyone who tackles the changes and challenges of that new promotion.
This bud's for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. So this is for all you do.
Yep, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do. This bud's for you.
A beautiful view of Fairgrounds Raceway from our Skoal helicopter hovering high atop Richmond, Virginia. But the guy who's not doing any hovering today, the guy who's hauling, is Darrell Waltrip. The action is all up front where Waltrip has pulled away from an early battle among Dale Earnhardt, Neil Bonnet, Bobby Allison, and a bit of a fading Jeff Bodine. Let's pick up the on-track action now as Waltrip shows the way in the Richmond 400.
Coming up on 50 laps complete of the 400. Waltrip first. There you see him with Dale Earnhardt. Number 3 car running in second. Neil Bonnet is third. Bobby Allison fourth. Bodine in fifth. Gann in sixth. Kyle Petty is seventh. Rusty Wallace eighth. Ron Bouchard is running in the 9th position. Terry Labonte in 10th. Lake Speed is running 11th. Bill Elliott is running in the 12th position. 13th is Richmond. 14th is Petty. 15th is Ricky Rudd. And 16th right now is Butch Lindley. Waltrip drawing away. You know, look here at car number 48, the James Hilton car with Lenny Pond at the controls. There you see number 9, Bill Elliott, still screaming through cars as he makes his way up through traffic. He and Lake Speed are switching positions. 11th spot is now Lake Speed, Bill Elliott in 12th.
Bill Elliott's been trying everything he possibly could to get by Lake Speed. He's been under him on the inside. He's been outside of him, but still he's behind.
You know, it takes just one good race to turn a driver around. Many say that for Elliott, it was rocking him. He had that great battle with Harry Gann, and then he persevered and won. Lake Speed had that great display last week. Although attrition was high, he knows that he can finish up there in second place. And he is the former world karting champion. Won that championship at Le Mans many years ago. Here's this 28-year-old leading Bill Elliott, the man who won the Daytona. There's Elliott trying to just slip her down on the inside. Good battle. That is 11th place that you're watching here in our live coverage on Superstation WTBS.
Ken, as we watch Bill Elliott, we can't help but think about his 1985 game plan. He started so hot. He won the Daytona 500, dominated the race, ran away from the best teams in stock car racing. But he said in Daytona, he said again this week, his goal is the national championship, the Winston Cup, and its $250,000 prize. As he battles the man who finished second behind him last week, Lake Speed at number 75, Elliott knows he's got to have his short track program together. He's got to run well on the tracks like Richmond, which are so much a problem for him. He's challenged here by Tim Richmond. They've got to get their short track car right. He started 13th, and if Richmond gets by, he's going to fall back to 13th. The Daytona winner at this moment is going nowhere.
And the man on the move is Rudd in the number 15. He made a move to go around Tim Richmond about a lap ago and got absolutely nearly walled going into turn number 3. There is the number 9 getting under 75 in their battle for 11th. And watch what happens here, because Richmond is right there. He can keep him pinned on the outside. Speed could go down a couple of spots. That's the battle for 11th. Elliott has it, and there goes Richmond in the 27 on the low side. Richmond finds some daylight even on Elliott to hit the back straightaway. Real tussle going on. They pull up on a lap car. Ronnie Thomas becomes a factor here in the 41. The 15 is there. The 43, a little bit of a bottleneck, a little bit of congestion. It could change it all.
Ronnie Thomas. They bumped down that front straightaway outside toss tire slow that Richmond almost lost it going into turn 1.
Dandy battle. Now number 9, Bill Elliott picks up that spot. He finds himself in 11th. And look at this side by side. Ricky Rudd is going after Tim Richmond on the outside, and the Bud Moore Ford is working well today. New sealer or no new sealer, that 15 works this race car. There's Rudd, the Chesapeake, Virginia driver, who won it a year ago. Took Waltrip out in the latter moments, trying to contain Ashland, Ohio's Tim Richmond.
Again, as Richmond and Rudd have their battle here, Ricky Rudd is very much the hometown favorite. He is from Chesapeake, Virginia, which is nearby, and the biggest crowd of the biggest roar from the crowd here in pre-race was for this man, number 15, Ricky Rudd, and perhaps it's reminiscent of a year ago. Horrendous crash in the Busch Clash. He came here all beat up and battered with both eyes blackened, climbed in that race car, and went out and whipped the best short tracker in America, Darrell Waltrip. He crashed again in qualifying gear and started way back in the field. That's why you're watching him right now battling at the tail end of the top 10. But if the crowd picked it, you could bet that man would go to the front. Ricky Rudd.
That's the battle for 13th position. Number 27 is in 13th, and then it is the 14th position for car 15, Ricky Rudd. The leader closes in on Ken Schrader in the 90, the Junie Donlevy Ford. There's the leader, Darrell Waltrip, another time. And just look at him eat up cars and eat up that track as he gets into those corners hard. But there comes number 3.
There comes Dale Earnhardt right behind him. He has made up almost a straightaway on Darrell Waltrip. He has really got the car hooked up today, Jim.
Tremendous battle developing. Earnhardt has come from 20 car lengths back to close to within 5, 6 car lengths as they go down into turn number 3. Earlier, we asked Darrell Waltrip about the sealer on this track, and this is what he told us.
We can get back in the gas a lot quicker, which means we're going to accelerate off the corner a lot quicker. But there's some chattery rough places that's still on the racetrack that really gets the car out of control. So springs and shocks, sway bars, all those things are more critical probably than ever before.
64 of 400 laps complete this time. You watch Waltrip try to move around the Ronnie Thomas car. It's a little longer for Childress to get through, and that's the advantage for the 11 of Waltrip.
Dale Earnhardt has got a tough break and passed Ronnie Thomas in the corner. Darrell Waltrip got to pass him down the straightaway.
Although we're getting towards 70 laps down, we still have some 15 cars in that lead lap. 15 machines in the lead lap here on the half-mile Richmond Fairgrounds. Later today, here on Superstation WTBS, the world champion Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers. That's next after live Winston Cup Grand National Racing from Richmond, Virginia. Lead car back to main straightaway, lapping Trevor Boyce another time is Waltrip, and there's Earnhardt.
As we watch Earnhardt rip around this racetrack, keep a note of the fact that he is really pitching that car into the corner. He's driving this thing like it was a dirt track, following in the footsteps of his father, who was one of the great dirt short trackers of all time. Up on the outside, he's hurling the car into the corner, and that means he's using up an awful lot of tire. But the thing to remember about Earnhardt is he's one of the fastest drivers in the field when those tires get hot, when the car gets loose and wants to slip and slide around. As he chases Darrell Waltrip, he is really on the gas, driving it like a sprint car. 11 Grand National wins, and look at this battle as Ricky Rudd goes up the outside
on Tim Richmond in the 27, and Richmond finds a hole on Lake Speed down low. The red and yellow car, number 2, gets in there with the Phil Good car, number 67, and just barely gets through.
I didn't think there was room for 3 cars on the back straightaway, but they proved there is.
That's
Richmond's going to get the spot. I think Richmond's going to get the spot.
Battle for 12th on the inside. Number 27, Richmond there. Lake Speed on the outside now. There's Richard Petty getting into it. 4-car battle, 12, 13, 14, 15 here. Further back in the field. That battle for the lead? No, it's still 5-car lengths. Totally controlled up there by Darrell Waltrip with Earnhardt still sustaining in second spot as they lap Marcus. Let's go back to that battle. There you see number 27, Richmond in the 12th position. And here's Richard Petty getting beneath Ricky Rudd, the number 43, that most familiar number. He tries to make his run. They lap Bobby Hillen coming out of turn 4.
This is the kind of racetrack that Richard Petty over the years notoriously has been so strong on. A slick, short racetrack.
A track that Benny Parsons, working with us, succeeded on, winning here a few years ago, 1976. Here's that field again. Look at this battle further back. Number 11, the lead, getting up on J.D. McDuffie. Number 70, as we go back to the leaders another time. Waltrip in first. Earnhardt there having to take the high side around McDuffie in his brand new team this year. He's got a lot of help. Super Speedway cars and short track cars and 3 sponsors, including one cigar company working with old J.D.
He'll put him out of business smoking cigars. Earnhardt is right there. He's right on Darrell's bumper.
Speedway, Super Speedway versus small tracks. Dale Earnhardt gave us this comparison.
Well, this is a small place compared to Daytona, you know, and you run good at Daytona, and you come back to here, and you know, you can relax. All the pressure ain't on here like they are at Daytona. You can really get down and race and enjoy it.
Enjoy it, I'm sure he is, as he closes up once again on his nemesis in number 11. Waltrip, about 110, 115 through there beneath that starter's flag. Here they are back into turn number 1.
This has been a very impressive run by Dale Earnhardt. As I said, the first lap he got the car sideways, and I keep going back to that, but I can't believe he's running as well as he is right now.
Richard Petty has moved around Lake Speed. Number 43 has picked up a spot. He's gone into 14th, and Lake Speed has dropped to 15th. There you see the tussle once again. Number 11 stays in first. Waltrip there by now 3-car lengths. Still working. Bobby Hillen, number 8. That car is doing well this year.
Bobby Hillen is going to be a very good race car driver.
High line by Earnhardt, and it doesn't seem to hurt him. He drops maybe a car length there, perhaps a length and a half, but he gains it back, diving down. Now Gant begins to show some strength. The Bandit, Harry Gant, number 33, pulls up on number 5, Bodine, fighting for 5th.
I think that Harry Gant and Travis Carter over the winter has worked very hard at their short track program, and I think today shows that they have made some progress in that direction.
Travis Carter said that's the one area where they felt they had an Achilles heel with their short track program, and indeed you're right, Benny. That's where they have focused their attention because they want that national championship here in 1985, and you'll see the last 3 races of the year right here on Superstation WTBS live. That will be Rockingham, Atlanta, and Riverside at the end of the season. More from Richmond Fairgrounds in a moment.
Presenting beauty in motion, the Dodge Lancer. Its fluid lines are graceful, captivating. Its sleek body glides through the wind. Dodge Lancer, with room, space, and virtually every electronic convenience available. And Lancer has a fuel-injected engine with optional turbocharger, so you know what to expect. Great performance.
To race fans everywhere, Old Milwaukee means something great. It means the Old Milwaukee race team, racing at its best. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light. And Old Milwaukee. And Old Milwaukee Light. Tastes as great as their name. Yeah, it doesn't get any better than this.
I got your number, cupcake, sweet talk in disguise. You sweet talker, Betty Crocker. You sweet talker, Betty Crocker. I tumble and I crumble when you ripple and rise.
He's getting a bigger piece than me.
You sweet talker, Betty Crocker.
Sat down with Mom, talked to Dad. Can't get it together, makes you feel sad. You know you can do it, you wonder where. You want it soon because you really care. The services can help you so you not only get better, you really grow. Talking Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. They'll take you, train you, show you the way. You'll work hard, get decent pay in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Prove you can make it. Prove it to all. Serving your country and walking tall in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You've got it together. They'll see in a glance. Thanks to the services, you got the chance in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
Continuing live coverage of the Richmond 400 is being brought to you by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light, two of America's great tasting beers. It doesn't get any better than this. It doesn't get any worse than this for Phil Parsons at number 17. He cut down the right front, came around half a lap on the rim, sits on pit road. There is a difficulty with our Skoll camera on board that car today. Phil Parsons in car number 17. Meanwhile, on the track, it continues to be Darrell Waltrip's story today. He and Dale Earnhardt running the first and second position. Here you see them, and they're about ready to lap. Car number 43, Richard Petty, running that 14th spot. There are now 86 laps complete. Benny Parsons, take a look at this before we get Benny into this. Thought you might have number 44, Labonte, is being challenged by number 15, Ricky Rudd. That's the 11th place car, number 44, Terry Labonte, and right after him comes that 15 that started back in 21st. That's about the hardest working guy out there today.
What a phenomenal run from 21st spot. But Ricky Rudd has been trying it high, low. He's been working out the groove.
Sure understands this racetrack. Now there's Richard Petty about to go a lap down as car number 11 scoots through on the bottom, and here comes number 3, Earnhardt, the second place car. And the king, the man who's won more races here than anyone at the Richmond Fairgrounds, Richard Petty, feels the steam and the pressure of these young Turks. Number 11, Waltrip, and number 3, Earnhardt, out of turn number 2. Richard won't quite cave in there.
I think Richard Petty found out that the outside groove, if he could just get it working, is getting to be the groove. Dale Earnhardt just a moment ago had moved up to the outside and was looking for a better way around the racetrack. See, there he is on the outside. He's trying to find him a better way around the racetrack.
Good battle between 44 and 15 going into turn 3 and down into turn 4. As that struggle continues further back in the field. Now there you see those two leaders moving out. The battle in 11th spot has just been a dandy. We got a car in trouble up in turn number 2. It is Rusty Wallace spinning. Rusty Wallace brings out the second caution of the day. 1984 Grand National Rookie of the Year.
Now, here's where a rule change comes into effect, because now they can only change 2 tires, ladies and gentlemen. Used to, right now, everybody needs tires. They're going to come in, change 4, but not now. The rule change says they can only change 2.
Let's take a look and replay at the events that brought out this second caution of the day in our live coverage from Richmond, Virginia, the Virginia State Fairgrounds. Here's Rusty Wallace, the Cliff Stewart car number 2. Old furniture maker from North Carolina, not going to be too happy with the front end of that car.
No, it looked like when he went in the corner that the right front tire was flat or something, but it went straight in the fence.
Leaders pitting.
All the leaders are coming in. And which side are they going to change, Ken?
Rusty Wallace's car parked on the outside of 3 and 4 as you see the rest of the field motor on by. All the leaders on pit road. An opportunity for back markers to collect time here on this racetrack in this half mile. You can get a lap back. Waltrip's car in and out, number 11.
Oh! Crash on pit road. Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt crashed on pit road.
Just at the exit of pit road. Terry Labonte is the last pit on pit road, that number 44 car. And as he cut across, he collected the Earnhardt car. Try to get a shot of the Earnhardt car and see how much damage it has sustained. A I bet there's a lot of extra communication. Number 33, Harry Gant, trying to get off pit road. And take a look at number 3, Earnhardt. The car that had been in second place really got whomped in the front. He pulls up beside Darrell Waltrip. And they talk it over a little as they come down.
Something was smoking, it looked like, on Earnhardt's car. I think the right front fender may be pushed in on the tire.
Whole front end is pushed in just to tickle.
Yes, and you know, Ken, they can only change 2 tires on the caution. He has changed his 2 tires. If that tire should go flat, he can't change it without a 2-lap penalty.
Tough one, isn't it?
It is tough.
You know, why do we always get the tough ones? Last time we went to Nashville, we had that wonderful time. Did Bonnet or Waltrip win? Now, what a conundrum this number 3 is in. Earnhardt has changed the 2 tires in the caution. As he came out, he got collected. Now he's going to come in and pit, and presumably that's a 2-lap.
Not if he doesn't change tires.
If he doesn't change tires, but if he comes in and changes tires, here he is.
But we can see heavy damage on the right front of that car, and the tire is, in fact, rubbing the fender.
So the first time the tire rule is put to the test, it looks like it's going to knock the Wrangler car down if they have to change that tire. They're looking to see if they can pull the fender away. Oh, what a bad break for Earnhardt, who gave it such a tremendous run. It makes for great television. I wonder what it does for the fans on the other side of the track, though. For our cameras and so forth, that's interesting, but for a lot of folks sitting around a racetrack that bought a ticket today, you wonder what they're getting out of this tire change.
Well,
tire
we'll find
rule
out.
change.
Well, we're going to find out, because now Dale Earnhardt is going to go to the back of the field, and him going to the front for those ticket payers is going to be very exciting.
They did not change that right front tire because of the new rule. Earnhardt will go to the back of the pack, but he will not go 2 laps down. As Benny mentioned, had they changed more than 2 tires, it's a 2-lap penalty. The reason is to conserve the number of tires the teams use and thus cut down on the cost of racing. Earnhardt had to make a judgment call. His crew had to make a judgment call there because that tire was definitely rubbing the sheet metal, could well have been damaged. He's going to have to go back out there with a tire that he really doesn't know the condition of. It's a scary moment for Earnhardt. He's got a lot of catching up to do.
We'll be getting to green very shortly here at the Virginia State Fairgrounds with our live coverage.
East Point, Maine and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. East Point means a New England clam bake, summer fun, and food at its best. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
Old Milwaukee.
And Old Milwaukee Light.
Taste as great as their name.
You know, guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
Well, moms and dads the world around give their kids the same old sound. Got to go to school, be a big success. They wouldn't settle for anything less. Now they've learned whatever you seek, you'll help yourself to reach your peak. In the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Need a trade? Looking for a skill? They have hundreds to fit the bill. In the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Want more school? Don't have the bread. They'll help pay to get you ahead. Talking Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Mom and dad, they'll want to shout. He's made it big. There's no doubt. Thanks, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
Racing. From the inside, no one covers it like Auto Week. Auto Week makes you an insider at the world's great race circuits every week. In the pits, behind the scenes, even in the cockpit with racing driver columnists in Formula One, NASCAR, and kart. Inside coverage just days after the race. And Auto Week puts you inside the world's most exciting cars, right behind the wheel. Auto Week takes you inside the whole automotive scene. Personalities, great cars of the past, columnists with inside scuttlebutt. Let Auto Week make you an insider, too. Call for a year's subscription to Auto Week. 52 issues at the basic price of $23. Just 44 cents an issue. Call 1-800-554-1800. And get this $10 Auto Week fender cover absolutely free. Call right now. 1-800-554-1800. Let Auto Week make you an insider, too.
We're back at the Richmond Fairgrounds Speedway in Virginia, the first Grand National short track race of the 1985 Winston Cup season, and we are under yellow for a spin involving Rusty Wallace. That yellow produces the first test of a crucial new tire rule applying to Winston Cup racing. Only 2 tires can be changed on a car under yellow flag. Dale Earnhardt would not give that rule very high marks in its first test. He has damaged the right front of his car in a collision with the Grand National champion, Terry Labonte. He was not able to change that tire for fear of going 2 laps down. We take you back a week to Daytona. Grand rivalry. So much as part of the story of this game. It was the Ford Zephyrs who ran away with the 200. Here, it's the Chevy short trackers that have shown the strength. Darrell Waltrip has led virtually every lap of this race, and he was challenged by Earnhardt Chevy until he had his problem. Now Earnhardt goes back to the back of the field. We'll see if Waltrip can pull away again as we get set to go back to a green flag.
Phil Parsons, number 17, has come back on the track, as has number 20, the Rick Newsom car. Many laps down, the Parsons machine, after he cut down the right front tire. There he is, number 17. He's going to dive right back on pit road.
It looks like the car doesn't feel exactly right. He's going to have to go back in and have the crew check it out.
Coming back on pit road, another time is car number 17. They're going to continue to work on it there.
What they were looking for, Ken, they were looking at the toe-in or toe-out to make sure that it was proper. Evidently, it wasn't, because they're jacking up the left side, and they're going to make a change over there.
Let's go to Jerry Garrett.
The question, Ken, is how worn were the tires that were on these cars? These are the tires that just came off of Dale Earnhardt's cars. The Goodyear tire man says they're about 1/3 worn, which isn't bad, but they wouldn't put them back on the car for another set.
98 laps have been completed, still under caution. The rundown as follows. Darrell Waltrip is first. Bobby Allison is second. Neil Bonnet maintains third. Jeff Bodine is fourth. Tim Richmond fifth. Ricky Rudd, 6th, Bill Elliott, 7th, Kyle Petty, 8th, Ron Bouchard in the 9th position, Terry Labonte in 10th, Harry Gant, 11th, Earnhardt is 12th, Butch Lindley is in the 13th, and they are all shown in the lead lap. 1 lap down in 14th is Richard Petty, and Lake Speed is also being shown 1 lap down. Phil Parsons again back on the track.
One thing that we might ought to tell the viewers, Ken, we talk about the new tire rule and how much it's going to affect, and Jerry Garrett just said from the pits that after 100 laps or 90 laps, the tire was only 1/3 worn out. It's not that the tires wear out, it's that cold, fresh tires adhere to the racetrack much better than the old cars, the old truck tires.
You can hear Phil Parsons talking to Roger Hamby as they check out car number 17. Talk about the heat there in the car. He's been sitting on pit road for some time as he gets number 17 back on the track. There'll be at least another lap as apparently Rusty Wallace dumped a lot of fluid on the track. Benny, you want to talk to your little brother?
Phil Parsons, this is Benny Parsons up in the TBS Tower. Do you read us?
4, Benny.
What happened over there on the back straightaway a moment ago?
I'm not sure. It either cut a tire down or broke a tie rod in.
But you did hit the outside retaining wall.
10-4.
You were talking about the heat a moment ago. Is the thing running hot?
No, it's running about 195 degrees, and it's fairly comfortable inside.
Okay, they keep adjusting the toe in. They had to change the tie rod in. Is that right?
4.
Good luck.
Thank you.
It's not the happy younger brother I usually know.
No, not a very jovial young man right now.
100 laps have been completed, 1/4 of the distance down, averaging 74 miles an hour, still under caution. Waltrip has dominated as he did a year ago, only to lose it in the waning moments of the event to a hard-charging Ricky Rudd and Bud Moore car. Will it happen again? They begin to bunch him up. Lap cars fall to the inside. The first one to drop down on the inside is the Butch Lindley car. Right behind him comes Richard Petty and then Lake Speed, followed by Clark Dwyer. They are the lap cars at the bottom of the track. Average speed is dropping even down to a 68.343 reading here on a 100-lap rundown. As caution dropped them from 74.8 at the 80-lap mark to 68.3 at the 100-lap mark. There you see the fast runners on the outside of the track, lap cars on the bottom of the track as they get set for a start. Did you ever wish you had the bottom side running the high side of the restart?
No, because the bottom side means you're 1 lap down.
But if they switched it over and let the lap cars go on the outside?
Well, that would be better, yes. The fast cars need to be on the inside because that's where the groove is. But it would be strange to do it only at this racetrack. Green flag is back waiting.
Car number 11, Waltrip springs for the lead. Bobby Allison comes after him. Bonnet running third. 2 battle scars on car number 5, Bodine's car, back and forth as you're watching the first turn. And again, Waltrip leaps out in front. Going for the advantage. Here you see the Lindley car. 1 lap down the leader. Bobby Allison trying to overwhelm him here. Lindley has a lot of experience on these tracks, and here's Allison down low on Butch Lindley's new team, and he's drawing himself through. Bobby Allison into second place. He and his wife Judy celebrated their silver wedding anniversary last Wednesday. Had a big night at the White Star Cafe down there in Hueytown, Alabama. Gave her 25 roses, one for every year she put up with. That's according to Allison.
Kyle Petty seems to be having some problem back in the field. We'll have to keep an eye on him and report to you later.
Neil Bonnet moves in again. Another member of the Alabama gang, Neil Bonnet, works on Bobby Allison out of turn number 2. That's your battle, second place. As they take that third and fourth turn, Allison holding off Bonnet. Then a lap car, followed by the fourth place man, Jeff Bodine, Tim Richmond, and Ricky Rudd is charging. Rudd is up behind Tim Richmond, giving him a real tussle. Here's Neil Bonnet, bottom side. This is almost a replay of the year ago when the 11 and 12 car ran in tandem for about 150, 200 laps here. Allison, the spoiler on that deal right now, as he stays in there and keeps that die guard, number 22 in the thick of things. The car sponsor and the race sponsor are the same, and it means a great deal to Allison to do well in this race because all of the sponsor personnel are here to see the performance at one of their own races, and he wants this car to really click today. He's up there in second spot. Bonnet stays right with him. We asked Bobby Allison earlier how he liked this Richmond half mile.
Well, Richmond's one of my favorite places. It's a very unusual track, tough place, very tight, flat, or very little banking. It feels flat, or at least tipped to the outside when you're racing around the place.
We have a blown engine on number 15. Ricky Rudd has crashed into the wall in turn number 1. Ricky Rudd going down, trying to pick up the number 27's position as they went down into turn number 1, trying to take this spot on the outside. The motor came unwound. He went into the outside retainer. Petty is collected, and Terry Labonte as well. Petty a lap down. Terry Labonte was running 8th at the time. There you see the Petty car on the bottom of the track, and Ricky Rudd, last year's winner, in major problems. A big plume of smoke as the car went into turn 1, and it looks like his hopes have departed right here in the 109th lap. On to pit road news number 44. Here's Terry Labonte. The front end badly caved in on his car. That very first pit on pit road. Pace car moving out. 110 laps complete as they come by this time. Misfortune.
He looks like
Ricky
he is
Rudd.
pretty serious damage there, Ken.
Dale Inman down in front. Looks like a wrestler, and you can see the anger and frustration on Dale Inman wanting to get this. Here comes a group of the leaders on pit road. Number 11 is right behind 44 as he gets ready to draw back on the track. You see the number 9 of Elliott coming back out. They hold him on pit road. Here's Waltrip coming out. We'll have a chance to look and replay at what happened in turn 1. Here you see the cars coming in the first turn. And car number 15 just flat goes away, gets caught in his own oil right here. Takes the outside wall. Petty gets in the oil, no place to go. And Terry Labonte nearly went underneath the 43.
Oh, terrible looking crash.
Lucky is Earnhardt. Watch again.
Ricky Rudd, he's trying to save the car, but the oil, there's nothing he can do, Ken. And he hits the guardrail. He probably sustained less damage than Richard Petty or Terry Labonte, because both those guys hit the fence and each other.
Actually, the 44 draws just about 2-3 feet from center punching the 15 at the end of that, but he'd already collected the car. Now, there is Earnhardt. They still work on his number 3.
I think they are. They haven't decided now to adjust the toe-in that they looked at a moment ago.
You're watching all of this action live on Superstation WTBS. Later today, the world champion Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers, the next sports attraction, the National Basketball Association. Under caution, a quick one as Ricky Rudd has his engine disintegrate going into the first turn. Let's look at it one more time. It's not too far from where he had trouble in qualifying.
This is a beautiful angle. I mean, it's not good for Ricky Rudd or Richard Petty, but for the viewers at home, great angle. We see Ricky trying to save the car. He's got the car turned to the right, but the car goes in, hits not too hard, but Richard Petty up on top of the guard. Now it comes down, the gas tank hits the outside retaining wall. It's a wonder that he didn't spill gasoline on the racetrack.
3 great favorites in our live coverage.
Earnhardt just barely got through the crash.
Real trouble. Richard Petty, number 43, on the hook. And the new Gurney engine doesn't get much of a chance to show itself or demonstrate too much here at Richmond today. Richard Petty being brought in on the hook so many times, brought into victory lane on this very track, but not today.
You know, Ken Squire, about 10 years ago, we saw that shot that Richard Petty got up on top of the guardrail and did that. 10 years ago, coming off the fourth corner, he and Bobby Allison were having a battle for the lead. He did that on the front straightaway and won the race. The car went on and won the race.
Doesn't appear to be the case today for Richard Petty, Terry Labonte, Ricky Rudd. Back with more from the Virginia State Fairgrounds, live on Superstation WTBS, the Richmond 400.
There's a time in life for the young to say, I want something else, a different way. The town's the same, the people too. School is over, need something to do. The services have it, it'll really show. You'll see new places, you'll really grow in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Challenge, adventure, excitement too, a time to enjoy and see something new. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You'll work hard, feel really free, serving your country for all to see in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Be part of a team, be friends forever. A part of the services you won't forget ever. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
Sounds like there's a bear in the beer.
What are we going to do?
I'll be right back.
Where's he going?
He's going to get that beer from that bear.
That's not just a bear. That's a grizzly.
Yeah, but that's not just a beer. That's fire-brewed Strohs. I thought we had 3 cases. Well, had to make a deal.
Strohs and Stroh Light, fire brewed for smoother taste.
There's more for your life at Sears.
If you think you know Sears catalog, wait till you see this. Sears new spring catalog is hot and cool. Not at all the catalog your mother knew. See what I mean? It's smart, daring, sassy. Yes, it's Sears catalog. Let the colors splash. We're afraid of nothing, just like you. It's amazing what a touch here and there can do. And Sears catalog does it. Come on, confess. These are looks you can't resist. And why should you?
Sears new spring catalog is yours for only $4. Get your copy at your Sears store or call our toll-free number.
Sears catalog is so easy to use, you probably will. Again and again.
Can it be Sears catalog? Can it be?
Believe it.
There's more for your life at Sears.
Back live at Richmond Fairgrounds Raceway for the Richmond 400. Richard Petty just took a wild ride. What happened?
Well, Ricky blew, and I was right on his bumper, and when he dumped all the oil and stuff out, I turned. It didn't do no good. I just followed him right up to the wall and got up on top of the wall and beat fast and tore my race car up.
They were looking inside your car. What happened there when you hit?
Well, when the thing caught on fire, and there wasn't nobody down there with no fire extinguisher. So I was running around looking for a fire extinguisher. It finally went out, but anyhow, I just tore the car pretty bad.
Things can go wrong in a hurry here.
It looked like a mad pinball machine in turn number 1 as Ricky Rudd's hopes expired with a blown engine. Back here about 5 laps ago, we're at 1:15 right now with 400 to make the distance to be covered in the Richmond 400. Our live coverage today on Superstation WTBS of the second event of 1985 on the $10 million Winston Cup Tour. The Richmond 400, now 116 laps complete. 1 lap before they turn them loose at the STP Pit Center. Here's Dave Dispenza.
One man's misfortune is another man's good fortune. Bobby Allison pits while Richard Petty is in the pits. In big trouble here with a bent-up race car. Allison says new right side tires have helped him pick up a half-second a lap, and he's going to be the lead car when we go green. The attrition has taken out Cecil Gordon, Buddy Baker, Rusty Wallace, and Ricky Rudd with a blown motor. Terry Labonte, also involved in that incident, is back out on the racetrack, and Richard Petty has not shown up here because the STP car, well, they're going to try to fix it and see if they can get it back in this race. He's won it 13 times, more than any other driver in history here at Richmond. And this guy, Bobby Allison, is second on that list. He's won at Richmond 7 times.
Allison now in front. Tim Richmond in that second position. Harry Gant in third. Allison has won this early race in the season twice. But, of course, he's accumulated some others over the years with the other races run on this track. Now, Waltrip is back in 6th position in the restart. Waltrip is in 6th, Bonnet in 5th, Elliott 4th, Gant 3rd, Richmond 2nd, Allison 1st as they scoot into turn number 1.
Tim Richmond is on the outside.
That's Richmond going for the lead.
Going right by Bobby Allison on the outside.
Hold the phone. Here they are in turn number 3. Ooh, Lake Speed comes out high on Harry Gann. Oh, my heart and face scrape up the fender.
Bobby Allison has some type of problem. I don't know exactly what it is, but he has some type of problem.
Allison fading back. Now the second place man is Harry Gann, number 33. You see the bandit scooting through. Lead car is number 27. First place car, Tim Richmond.
Allison's coming down pit road.
Bobby Allison comes in. The third place car on the race is number 9, Bill Elliott. The Ford is there. Here's Bobby Allison on pit road at number 22.
They're changing the right side tires. Evidently, one of the tires is flat.
Look at this battle for the lead. Number 27 and 33. Gann collects Richmond in a hurry and goes after him. Main straightaway. Harry Gann is there. Richmond first. Gann in second. Bill Elliott about 6 car lengths back in third behind the lap car of Lake Speed.
Great race, but back in the field, another dramatic. Darrell Waltrip has a problem. He's falling back in the field. Right now, we have a tremendous battle for the lead, though.
Waltrip is falling back. He has fallen back about 3 more car positions. Meanwhile, numbers 12 and 9 are at it. You see them going into turn 1. 75 Lake Speed fighting to get his lap back, and just behind them, the 12 car is making a real run at Bill Elliott. Just behind those 2 leaders, 27 and 3, and there you see it, and there is number 12. That's Bonnet on the inside, and Neal nails down another spot. He's up to third, and the 9 car, Elliott, falls to fourth.
This is great racing. Darrell Waltrip is having trouble, and everybody is a would-be successor right now.
Now there's Waltrip. And he continues to dwindle back through the field. He is now back in 10th position. Remember the restart, 5th or 6th? There's Waltrip, and he's continuing to crop it up those spots that he needs so much. Now, from inside the Skold car, you're with Bill Parsons. As he tries to run out some laps, this will give you an idea of the sensation of running this tough old half-mile track.
He's right behind the rookie Ken Schrader in the Ultra Seal Ford.
They look so stable from outside, but inside you can see them chuck and jive down in those corners.
Anything but stable, Ken.
Right on the edge all the time if you want to be in Winston Cup Grand National Racing. The most competitive automobile racing in the world. At Daytona last week, it wasn't that kind of a race. Elliott just ran away, and the Elliott family put themselves into the record book as one of the families of destiny in Grand National Racing. Like the Pettys, like the Wood brothers, like the old Block and Baker families. Look out for those Elliotts who now lie 4th in this race. Out in front is 27, Tim Richmond. And Raymond Beadle's team, what a surprise they are here. Number 33, we mentioned earlier at the top of the program that the Hal Needham car had really worked hard on their short track program. This looks like it might be a payoff, but it's still early in the going with 125 of 400 complete.
He tried it on the outside going in turn 3 and on the inside coming off turn 4. He really wants that lead badly. Neal.
He can run the top and he can run the bottom. We've talked about the combination at Richmond, having the chassis and the tires set up properly to run the fast line around the racetrack. And that combination changes all day long. When you got it, you go to the front. Richmond's got it. Gann's got it. When you lose it, you go to the back. Bobby Allison seems to be a victim of that, and likewise the early front runner Darrell Waltrip. They're back chasing as these guys lead.
Bodine lies 5th. Kyle Petty is 6th. Ron Bouchard 7th. Earnhardt is 8th. Waltrip has come back a couple of slots into 9th. Look at this scrimmage. There goes Neil Bonnet getting into it. They pull up on Rick Newsom. He had trouble early in the going. Live on Superstation WTBS, this $260,000 race from Richmond, Virginia this afternoon. And what a battle it is. Tim Richmond hangs it right out in that front spot. Harry Gann comes right after him. And now Bonnet is there. Front 3 all gathered up. And the 33 looks like it has as much or more than the lead number 27.
It looks like it has much more right now. I think if Harry Gann gets in front, he could go on and just drive away from Tim Richmond.
Let's go to Glenn Jarrett on pit road.
Okay, we're in Bobby Allison's pits. We have here the cause of his problem. He ran over something and punctured the right front tire. You can see the circle around in here where the puncture mark is. The tire was going flat. Bobby had to come in and change it. A tough break while he had the lead. Let's go down for another report from Jerry Garrett.
We're here with Ricky Rudd, the defending champion out of this race. Ricky, what happened to your car?
Well, the
motor let go on the front straightaway. It dumped a lot of oil and water out of it. When it did, I got sideways and about 4 or 5 cars behind me got involved in it. And, well, it ended up shortening our day.
You were ready to make a run at it at that time, though.
Well, we got messed up qualifying. We ended up starting 21st. We came all the way up to 4th place on the racetrack. The car was actually running very good for us. We finally got a hold of some good track position, was ready to go racing, and the motor let go, and that's our day.
We'll have a new champion here today. There you see the battle for the lead. It's a good one. 27, 33, and 12. 1, 2, and 3.
Harry Gant's really getting off that corner.
Further back in the field, another battle is developing. The 6th place car, number 7, Kyle Petty, is going to have his hands full with Ron Bouchard, Dale Earnhardt, and Waltrip. And there you see them. They are running 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. That is Kyle Petty in the Wood Brothers Ford, and that car seems to be running well.
One of the best runs I have ever seen for Kyle Petty today. Just a great run.
Now look at the 11th car. Waltrip, after falling back, seems to have remedied the problem. He hasn't hit it. He's just out there, but he's doing something differently, and that car gets back in here again. He scoots outside and tries to move around Earnhardt, trying that high line out of turn number 2.
Yes, I felt like he had a problem, but now as I watched the race unfold, I think maybe that he changed some tires and the combination went away. He's now made an adjustment, his driving adjustment, and he's now back where he can run with the leaders.
135 laps complete, and there are your leaders. It is Richmond in that 27 and Harry Gant in the 33. Bobby Allison again on pit road. Lux car getting lapped.
They have the hood up on Bobby's car, and anytime the hood goes up on a race car, Ken, that's bad news. That's a sign of trouble that you can't fix in just a matter of seconds. It takes minutes to do that.
Bobby Allison, number 22, having his share of woe here in the Richmond race today. The leaders back pounding down the main straightaway into the first turn. Number 22 there, Tim Richmond, stays in front. Winner of 3 Grand National races, 4 Grand National races, 121 starts. 3 of them on super speedways. 1 short track race to his credit. Here he is back in front. Harry Gant just itching to take that lead away from him, and you know that Bonnet wants this race. It's been a long cold spell for Bonnet.
Very badly, Neil Bonnet. Last year's shutout did not win a race in 1984. There's nobody on the racetrack who wants it any more than he does.
Tim Richmond continues to lead. Last year won some $329,000 on the Winston Cup Tour in the Raymond Beetle, car number 27. A lot of conjecture toward the end of the year that he might not be back in that car, but he's in it and leading right now.
The lead, Bill Elliott. Let's give credit where credit is due. Earlier he was 12th, and we discounted it. Now he's up to 4th. Ernie Elliott, who has become something of a folk hero, as we see. Oh, contact there for Elliott. That speed almost spinning right in front of him. A near tangle for Bill Elliott in car number 9. He's running 4th, but he's got his hands full right now. Ernie Elliott says of their brand new Thunderbird short tracker, the super speedway car last week was so superior. He says this is a brand new car, and we're very pleased right now that we're able to keep up with the General Motors products up front. Elliott is up to 4th after a harrowing moment with late speed.
Not a slide. He collected the 75 as he tried to come down through. It wasn't driven as a chop. It's always tough one to place. 11 and 3 are getting together now. And look at this battle. Here is Bonnet trying the inside and getting beneath Gant, but he pulls up on Jimmy Means in the 52, and there's no place to go. It's Richmond first, and in second it's Gant. And as quick as anything here today is the Neil Bonnet, number 12 in the 3rd position. Line 4th overall on the field is Elliott. Bodine pulls through into 5th. Earnhardt is in 6th. And there is Waltrip and Earnhardt at it. And Waltrip is getting beneath Dale Earnhardt. And it will be Waltrip pulling into 6th. Earnhardt falling to 7th. Waltrip begins to come up the ladder very slowly, but getting back into it for sure. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. 27. Richmond, 33. Gant, and there's number 12 on the inside, trying to press his way through in the bottom of the track. Bonnet, not quite there in the 41-lap car. He decided he might pull, wait a moment and get some clear track before he tries that maneuver again.
He had almost enough room to get through. If there had been just a few laps to go, 15 or 20, Neil Bonning would have went on. But this early in the race, why take a chance?
8 laps and 8 cars in the lead lap. 8 cars in the lead lap. 5 cars officially out of the race. Gordon, Baker, Rudd, Petty, and Bobby Allison are the 5 that are reported out. Update on the Allison story. That's tough on Bobby Allison today. Allison reported now at number 22 and down on this Richmond 400. There's number 17, Phil Parsons. Many laps down. He's trying to find his way through and score points. They have him a long track program and a short track program this year. As you see him motoring down the 660-foot main straightaway, 40 feet wide, up onto the 12-degree banking, and headed into the backside.
We watched him a few moments ago, Ken Squire, and he was behind the 90 car. Again, he's behind the 90 car, so at least he's keeping up with a pretty good race car.
Let's go to Jerry Garrett.
We're down here with Bobby Allison. Bobby, what's the matter with your car right now? No fuel pressure. I think that's what you're saying. There's no fuel pressure. Well, they're working on that right now, trying to get him back in because they want to earn points.
Indeed he does. Grand National Champion 2 years ago. Bobby Allison with problems here. Watch it live from the Virginia Fairgrounds, Richmond, Virginia. Bobby Allison back in the garage area. There's Richmond, the surprise of the race at number 27. The man with a somewhat different lifestyle than the other Grand National drivers.
Tremendous battle for the lead.
Here's car number 3. That is the Earnhardt car, number 71. Marcus chugging along there. Dave Marcus is being shown. That is a battle for 9th and 10th, actually. Lake Speed is in the 9th position, and Dave Marcus is in 10th. They're both a lap down. 71 and the 75 are making a run at it for 9th place. Speed trying to take it away from a 2-time winner of this event, Dave Marcus. 4 from the Richmond Fairgrounds with 150 laps now complete shortly.
Can you believe it? JP with an $18 million contract?
Sure is a long way from the playground.
Think he still drinks Strohs?
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
JT,
yeah. Richard. Timothy.
This is all right.
Glad he didn't forget his friend.
Oh, it's Strohs. Where is the Strohs?
Out by the pool.
The pool?
Strohs and Strohlights.
Now that's a cooler.
Fire brewed for the smoother taste.
Hey, you don't look too happy.
Well, they turned down seconds of my fish fry. Said it tasted greasy.
Greasy? But you're a terrific cook. Didn't you use Crisco?
I tried a bargain brand.
Are you sure it was a bargain? Read the labels.
Part animal fat. That's cholesterol.
Crisco's all vegetable with no cholesterol. And Crisco's 48 ounces. Most bargain brands 42. Melt them both down and remove the whipped-in air, and the bargain brand is
6 ounces less.
They're asking for seconds again?
Why not? Look at how crispy my fish fried up in Crisco. And no greasy taste.
Are you happy now?
We're all happy now.
Choose all vegetable Crisco and put your money on good taste.
Every time.
Hello, cake, let's celebrate. Pumpkin lines rise so high. This is the day of great taste.
Moist.
This is the day of great moistness.
Moist yellow batter makes our moistest yellow cake ever. Moistness that rises so high.
America's rising to a high rate. Rising high to a moist taste.
Delicious. Moist.
Dunkin' High Steam Up.
That's it. Something new atop a Dunkin' High cake? I think new Dunkin' High frosting. So deep, so flowing. We should have called it. I think from Dunkin' High.
On lap 154, Rick Newsom in car number 20 spun in turn number 3 as our live coverage continues on Superstation WTBS of the $250,000 Richmond 400. Leaders are pulling on to pit road. Number 27, Tim Richmond going for right side rubber. Gant the same. Bill Elliott the same. Waltrip in for sure. And we can't discount him, Benny. He's back here strong. Bodine, Bonnet, Earnhardt, Kyle Petty, all in for right side rubber at this time. And here's number 27 trying to get out in a hurry. He gets trapped behind the 33 car of Harry Gant. number 12 of Neil Bonnet, and Bonnet will lead for the first time today.
Great pit stop by Neil Bonnet's crew. Got him out in first place. Now, this is the break Neil's been looking for. We saw how strong he was a moment ago, but he couldn't get by. His crew now got him in front. It's his job to try to drive away.
This yellow flag pit stop is another opportunity for these pit crews to go looking for that elusive Richmond combination that we've talked about all day. What happens on the stops quite frequently is two things. Tire changes. The tires obviously affect the automobile's handling. And on occasion, a chassis adjustment. They call it dialing in wedge. They can adjust the car, the weight on the car, as we watch our camera car of Phil Parsons come in for service and possible adjustments. By making those adjustments on a yellow flag stop, they change the way the car handles. That, in turn, tries to keep the team on top of the changes in the racetrack. And indeed, this racetrack is changing dramatically. We had Rusty Wallace on our attrition board here at the STP Pit Center. We have taken him off because he has gone back out into the race. Now Phil Parsons is returning to the action. We asked Rusty Wallace what the track conditions were like out there. I won't repeat verbatim how slick he said it was. Suffice it to say that he said it is very, very slick. That sealer is worn off. The track is slippery.
Phil Parsons. Phil Parsons, this is TBS Race Control. Ken Squire, do you read us? And if so, can you give us a track condition? How slippery is it out there?
Yes, Ken, I can read you. The track is getting kind of slick. It doesn't seem to be as bad as it has gotten in races previous to this one, but it is getting slick, and the car with the best handling characteristics will be the one that wins the race.
Is there a difference in the bottom of the racetrack or racetrack or the outside groove? Which groove is the best one right now?
Well, for me, Benny, I can work better in 1 and 2 on the top of the racetrack, but I can seem to do better in 3 and 4 on the bottom of the racetrack. The reason being that once you get off the corner off of turn 4, all the cars that are traveling the low groove eventually get up to the wall. And it's a little bit too slick after you get off the corner, but on turn 2, everyone keeps a little bit lower, and you get a clean shot off the corner.
Okay, thank you.
Phil Parsons in car number 17, settling down to try to score some more points after having some early problems in this race. From Miami, late results, GTO International Motorsports event. Willie T. Ribbs is just one there. Jones in the second Ford Mustang in second. Walt Bourne with a Ford Thunderbird third. That's the GTO race at Miami in the Miami Grand Prix today. Willie T. Ribbs scores a win for Ford. In the Mazda Inter-American Challenge race, Juan Manuel Fangio II was victorious over Roberto Herrero, and Emerson Fittipaldi finished in third, a Latin sweep in that race. So, we're down to 160 laps complete. This time by of Richmond, Virginia. Later today, Superstation WTBS will take you to the game between the world champion Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers. Larry Bird and company out there in Indiana. You'll see it. NBA action on the Superstation later this afternoon. Right now, we've got a fender flailer going on in Richmond, Virginia, and this man, number 12, Neil Bonnet, is in front. Almost destiny seems to push him there. He's been back in third, back in second, challenging. Now he has himself a shot at first place. A quick report from Glenn Jarrett.
Okay, we're in Bill Elliott's pits where I talked to their tire man, Wayne Hamby. When Bill came in and pitted that time, it was the first time he had changed left side tires. They did change the tires. They took them off and checked the rubber that's left on them. The tire man, Hamby, says he's getting virtually no wear on the tires. These tires could have probably run the whole race. So Bill Elliott seems to be getting excellent tire wear.
1 lap to green, they are reporting. J.D. McDuffie, lap car, drops on the inside. Trevor Boyce will pull down in there. Terry Labonte now a lap down. Boy, that hurts to see. 44, Terry Labonte, the Grand National defending champion in that ruckus at turn number 1 that eliminated Richard Petty. They're now reporting the Rick Newsom car with engine problems will be a DNF in the race. It did not finish. We have 6 cars, 5 cars out as Allison's going to get himself back into this fray. Bobby Allison back in. Gordon is out. Baker is out. Ricky Rudd departed. Richard Petty as we get ready for more of a go here today. There you see Allison's number 22 back on the track and trying to pick himself up some more points because 30 races make a season. And with that new Winston payoff, it's worth staying out there.
It really is. It seems like to win the championship is a kiss of death. You have trouble the next year. The green flag waves again, Ken, and Neil Bonnet this time leads him down in turn 1.
Now the man who sustains the position through all of this is Gant in second place. Harry Gant of the Travis Carter prepared number 33. There you see him. Bonnet leaps off that second corner and pulls away in a second Junior Johnson prepared car. See if Gant and reeling back in as they come off number 4. They got under green at lap 161, now 162 complete. 9 cars after that caution reported in the lead lap, with Bonnet first, Gant second, Richmond third, Elliott fourth, Earnhardt fifth, Bodine in sixth, Waltrip in seventh, Bouchard is eighth, and Kyle Petty shown in ninth in the lead lap. 1 lap down in 10th is Terry Labonte. The 11th spot is number 71, Marcus. Marcus running in 11th. 12th is Lake Speed. 13th, Butch Lindley. 14th is Ken Schrader. And then another lap down in 15th spot is Bobby Hillen.
Neil Bonnet is not pulling away as I thought he would. I thought he would probably put car links on Harry again, but Harry's hanging in there.
In fact, as they shuffle off turn 4, he's losing some ground. There's the 27, Richmond, in the 3rd spot. Oh, what a surprise he's been. What a pleasant day for the Raymond Beetle team.
A great run today, and I'm sure that the new crew chief on that team, Barry Dodson, is very happy about today's success.
Again, before this record crowd, you see this field come rolling down this main straightaway. We talked to Bobby Allison, who is back in this race. There you see him, number 22, getting around Bobby Hillen and right up on the back of Kyle Petty as he tries to take some laps back about the new tire rule. And this is what Bobby Allison had to say.
Tires may be a factor. There's a new tire rule that goes into effect here. Only 2 tires per caution, which I think is a good move. And I think that may contribute to pit strategy being a factor.
We're back to track strategy right now as you watch Allison. He has his problems remedied as he goes up around car number 7, Kyle Petty. Remember, that's the 9th place car that Bobby Allison just overwhelmed coming off turn number 4.
Back at the front, Harry Gant has moved up right on the back bumper of Neil Bonnet. Harry hasn't led this race today. Gant, as well as he's been running, has yet to lead the race today.
Here's Gant. 1 car length back. Neil Bonnet, who's won $1,600,000 in his Grand National racing career, aiming to pull one together. 1984. Not a good year for Neil. Did not score a win. He wants to remedy that situation. The way the clock is working right now, it's in his favor. 170 laps complete this time by of the 400 to be run. He draws away, gets about a 2 or 3 car length advantage, but there goes the bead right there. Pulling the trigger, coming right back on him is number 33, Gant.
Neil Bonnet, unfortunately, has 230 laps to go. He just wishes this race could be over in the next 2 or 3 laps.
But he's tough. You know, the first time he ever drove on dirt, he drove in New Zealand. He'd never driven on dirt. He went to New Zealand in a winter series over there, and the first race he ever drove, he won. I mean, give him a race car, and under any conditions, he'll get whatever it is that car has. Very reminiscent of Cale Yarborough.
Yes. It looks like that through 1 and 2 that Neil Bonnet is fairly equal to Harry Gant, but I noticed that through 3 and 4, if we'll follow them now, they're entering turn 3. Watch Harry as they come off turn 4, just close right up on him. Close right up on the back of it.
Now, that's what your brother was talking about, the difference of running through the first and second turn as opposed to running through 3 and 4. We had that report from the Skoll car number 17. He was talking about it's a far different line on one end of this racetrack than the other. And from our overhead view, as you may have noticed, the track doesn't look the same.
And it certainly doesn't drive the same. But Harry really gets off that 4th corner.
Look at Richmond playing it cool and just waiting there. Usually he'd be right
is not playing it cool. Believe me, can't play. He's staying there because that's as fast as the run.
He can go. I was going to say, this may be the most conservative he's ever been. Out of turn 4. Scant distance between that first and second place cars. They go back to turn 1. Boy, you know you can feel the pressure there.
Bill Elliott, we just saw the roof of Bill Elliott's car go by. Again, he's hanging in there. They're not driving away from him right now.
Now you're inside Phil Parsons' Skoll car another time as he fights his way out of turn number 4 into the back straightaway. They've had some problems with Roger Hamby car. They tried a new ignition system for this race. Right off at the beginning of the race, misfortune caught up with them.
That's a Ronnie
tire cut down.
That's a Ronnie Thomas car right in front of him. Got the front straightaway.
See how much that front straightaway shortens up on you.
Boy, Bill goes way down low going in turn one. He almost used the pit road.
Back straightaway. There you see from outside, there's the 41 car and the 17 of the onboard camera just behind it. Closes up a little. Meanwhile, for the leaders, move. Here comes Richmond down on the inside, crowding, trying to find some room under Harry Gant. Whoa! Well, that's about as conservative as Richmond gets.
Yeah, that's right. What did you say a moment ago?
Number 27, Tim Richmond. The Richmond of old. Just can't wait to get in the fight if he can find one.
Beautiful move down the inside, though. Just a beautiful move.
Here he comes. Now lives in Fort Lauderdale on a 45-foot yacht. Into health food. Bill Elliott's moving. Now there's Elliott in that 9 car. And the Elliott family out of Dawsonville, Georgia. Georgia has to be proud of that young man and the magnificent race he performed. When you consider that he won the Daytona 500 on a qualifying motor, those things are usually just about 5-mile hand grenades. He ran it 500 miles.
That's right. The fuse is already lit when they put those things inside the car. Harry Gant is right on Bonnet's bumper. He got through 1 and 2 a little better that time. He might, well, they want to run across some traffic going in turn 3.
Remember now, I've got some additional help out of Emmanuel Zervakas. Builds a lot of cars in the Richmond area. In fact, about a third of the cars we saw in the late model stock car race yesterday were Zervakas machines. And they say he's been working some with Hal Needham and the Travis Carter team to improve their short track program, where Zervakas had great cars for Butch Lindley and others over the years. Now here's this number 33 performing as well as it's ever performed on a half-mile track.
I talked to Travis yesterday, and I tell you, it was the crew chief on the Skull Bandit, and he told me that Emmanuel Zervakas was one of the main reasons they were running as well as they are here this time.
That's first and second right there, knocking on the door. 181 laps complete. Bonnet hungry for a win, and you can bet your boots. Gant, who had just a sensational last part of 1984. His record was incredible. If they'd started from July on, he'd have won the national championship, but that's not the way they score this thing.
No.
30 races make the championship, and that's the one thing that this team, number 33, as well as number 12, wants. They want the national title.
Everybody out there, every car on this racetrack today wants a national championship.
We'll be back with more from the Virginia State Fairgrounds in Richmond shortly.
My cousin, Tessie, makes such a great antipasto. She rolls the salami up so tight, you can use it for a toothpick. Another trick she taught me, use Ziploc storage bag. You keep your marinated mushrooms in one bag, salami in another. Not only does Ziploc protect the flavor of these little morsels, but your peppers won't smell like your onions.
Ziploc. We've got the lock on food protection.
Oh, gee. I hope it's enough.
To lose weight, you have to control your appetite, and nothing works harder than extra-strength Dexatrim.
Dexatrim worked great. It helped me eat less all day, and I lost weight.
The extra-strength Dexatrim diet plan. You can't buy a stronger appetite control capsule without prescription. Dexatrim helps you eat less all day and lose weight.
With Dexatrim, I eat less between meals. And look at me, I lost weight.
Extra-strength Dexatrim. No appetite control capsule works harder to help you lose weight.
I'm telling you that I think you're crazy. I think that those will clean just as well as Comet.
All right, let's test it together on a tough, greasy food stain. We're going to count strokes.
Oh, my gosh. I don't believe it.
Pick the second powder. 2, 3. That's 22 strokes.
There really is a difference. I can't believe that I have been using all these different cheap brands, and the Comet got it out just like that.
Comet puts more power behind every stroke.
This Bud's for everyone who keeps things rolling in the mighty Mississippi.
Breakaway barge, please respond.
Rolling, we're right below here and we all the way out.
I'll come around to the port side bumper there.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, it's Bud for you.
Continuing live coverage of the Richmond 400 is being brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. Reach for the distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Back at the Richmond Fairgrounds Speedway, it has become the Neil Bonnet and Harry Gant show for the moment. Neil Bonnet's teammate, the man who dominated the early running, Darrell Waltrip, is not having any problems, according to the people on his crew. He's dropped back to a comfortable pace, and he's looking for the finish. Bonnet's people say the track is getting a little more slippery, but they're happy with the way the car is running. Right now, that car is running up front. The other man who is on the move, Dave Despain, is Dale Earnhardt. In the last lap, Earnhardt has drawn away just a bit from Bill Elliott. He overwhelmed the Ford of Bill Elliott, and it is number 3, Earnhardt, now running in 4th, relegating Bill Elliott to 5th, leaving Bodine in 6th, Waltrip 7th, Bouchard in 8th, Petty 9th, Labonte 10th, Butch Lindley 11th, Dave Marcus in 12th, Lake Speed 13th, Schrader 14th, Bobby Hill in 15th, with 191 of the 400 laps complete. There you see number 3, Dale Earnhardt, chugging away and now going after number 27, Tim Richmond. There's number 9, Bill Elliott. There's 17 right behind him, and there is Phil Parsons really having to fight that Roger Hamby car.
Well, he's moving over on the inside. He's letting Jeff Bodine go on the outside of him right now. As they come off the 4th corner, Bodine will go alongside, and he'll have to stay down and let Darrell Waltrip go by as they enter turn 1.
There they go.
Ooh, just barely cut in front of it.
From the Skoll car, you're seeing these pictures live from the Richmond Fairgrounds into the back straightaway. Up to over 100 miles an hour in this little 660-foot straightaway, and whoa it down. Touch the brakes and get yourself back into turns 3 and 4. Then back down before this packed house, standing room only in Richmond today. Record crowd at Daytona last week, and all records have been broken here today for attendance. And what a race they're seeing. The greatest stock car performers in the world are really putting on some kind of race. For Benny Parsons, I'm Ken Squire. Along pit road, Jerry Garrett, Glenn Jarrett, Dave Despain at the STP Pit Center. There's number 12, Neil Bonnet, your leader. And number 33, Gant, tries a higher line around turn number 2. Right behind them is number 27, Tim Richmond in 3rd.
I thought Harry Gant was going to get him on the outside a moment ago.
Here he comes, high side, 33, bottom, number 12, battle for first place.
Difficult groove coming off that 4th corner for Harry Gant.
Better than $250,000 at stake on a half-mile track. Richmond, Virginia is where it's happening. You're watching it live on Superstation WTBS, where later today, the world champion Salvage will go at it with the Indiana Pacers. I wonder if we're seeing a strategy change here. Might be a question for Benny Parsons. A couple of laps, we see number 33, Harry Gant, move up high and tackle the outside line. Do you think he's trying that new line, Benny? Is he going to try to run up there?
He's trying that new line because Dale Earnhardt is having so much success up there. His crew, or maybe Hal Needham, has saw that. They have told Harry to move up on the racetrack. He tried it. It's not working for him.
Waltrip is pulled up behind Bodine. And they are having a good fight going into turn number 1. There goes Waltrip down underneath Jeff Bodine. Waltrip and Bodine, wheel to wheel. They're battling for 6th position. Give it to Waltrip. Hold the phone. Here comes Bodine back on the outside. Darrell Waltrip down low in that 11 car that you saw dominate the first 100 laps. Now, fighting up to the bottom, up from 6th position. Waltrip dominated the first 100 laps, Ken, but the man who ran second most of that time is the man right behind him, Jeff Bodine. We asked Harry Hyde why Bodine dropped back into traffic, why he fell off the pace. Harry Hyde says, we're conserving our brakes. We asked him if there was a brake problem. He said, no, what we don't want is a brake problem at the end of the race. The theory is that Bodine is saving his race car. Waltrip goes around him, and the 2 cars that ran 1-2 early in the race are now hooked up in a battle for 5th and 6th. Halfway in the event, 200 laps have just been completed, 2:01 this time by. There you see Waltrip, line 6 of the field. Next in front of him in 5th is number 9, Bill Elliott. Then in 4th is Earnhardt. 3rd is Richmond. 2nd is Gant. And Bonnet leads the way. Pulling away just a bit from the Rick Hendrick car with the Junior Johnson number 11. Back to the leaders. There you see the 312 car holding his own. Bonnet high. Here comes Gant down to the inside. Jimmy Means just in front of them. Bonnet holds on again.
Harry had a spot for just a second, but he went away.
Neil Bonnet stays there. Gant maintaining that second position. You saw the power and the handling capability. And it's interesting, Benny, that now most of these teams, like major football teams, they deploy a guy to sit up on the very top seat of the grandstand. They'll buy the ticket if they have to watch the strategy of the other cars, and they report it to those cars down on pit road. I know they do it for you.
They do it for me, exactly right. A person sits up on top of the tower and tells me of trouble or the groove that I need to run.
That's what they told this man, number 11, Waltrip. The high side may be the quick side here. They're lapping Kenny Schrader again. Watch for Schrader. He could be a comer in years to come in the Junie Donlevy car. Bill Elliott slipping back, number 9 car, running high on turn number 4. I'm trying to take the 90 car of Ken Schrader. Bill Elliott's car. It looks like the tires may be running off on that car.
It looks like he is certainly not running as strong as he was just a few moments ago. But meanwhile, Dale Earnhardt continues to try to get by Tim Richmond up front.
You see Elliott around Jimmy Means another time. There's that 90 car. Only 7 drivers in USAC in 26 years. Won features in those major divisions, sprint cars, midgets, stock cars, and championship dirt. Look at Earnhardt decide to use up some more of that fender on Richmond. Kid Schrader in the 90 is the newest member of that flock from the USAC ranks. He wants to get into stock car racing out of St. Louis and see what he can do. Now here is car number 64, Clark Dwyer, a left car at the bottom in that Ford, double Langley's car. Earnhardt has to step off and move around. Richmond in the 27. And Earnhardt, they're both pretty tough race drivers, pretty aggressive people when it comes to trading sheet metal. That could get real interesting.
This could get very interesting. And both Earnhardt seems to run as good low as he does high. Either groove seems to work fairly well for him.
Remember, that's 3rd position and 4th. Richmond is in 3rd, and attacking right now is Dale Earnhardt to try to take the position away in the Richard Childress Chevy. Joining us late, Ricky Rudd lost an engine and took Richard Petty with him into the wall. Terry Labonte's car was collected as well. Petty is out. Ricky Rudd is out. Labonte has come back into the fray. We now have a total of 6 cars out of the race. Trevor Boyce, the latest to retire. Look at number 33 Gant as they lap J.D. McDuffie, trying to make a little move. There's a couple of smoothies.
Boy, that's a couple of good race car drivers we're seeing right now, Ken Squires. And if I tell you, Neil Bonnet slips just about 3 feet, Harry Gant in that Skull Bandit is going to be by him.
And that's about 1.5 inches on the steering wheel.
That's right. But Neil Bonnet knows that.
They both can be so right. We got 7 cars running out here that really look tattered and torn now, Benny. This begins to look like a Richmond race.
Well, that's right. It always does. You know, you've got to have sustained some body damage if you're going to get around this racetrack and do it right. You're going to get some body damage. Well, of course, you know, Dale Earnhardt, Terry Labonte, the damage they had was done on pit road.
Well, you just keep waiting for Harry Gant to spring the trap. They move up around Lenny Pond in the 48. In a wide line there. Laps complete, 212. 212 are down, and Gant sitting there, sizing up his man. So much at stake on a move. You finally commit yourself to go after that shot. If you're going to go down, the next time he won't let you through there. You can throw the dummy several times in the outside, but when you finally commit to something, you better be ready to pull the trigger.
Exactly right. You know, they seem to be putting just a little distance on the Tim Richmond and Dale Earnhardt cars right now. I would say that Earnhardt has probably used up his tires pretty much, making his charge up to the 4th spot.
3rd place car Richmond, 4th place car Earnhardt, and behind Earnhardt comes Darrell Waltrip in 5th, and then it is almost a quarter of a track back to the Jeff Bodine car in 6th, followed by Bill Elliott, who is having his problems. He's about 15 car lengths back is Elliott from Bodine. 8th position Bouchard, 9th Petty, 10th Labonte, 11th Marcus, 12th Speed, 13th Lidley. Here's Richmond in the 27 car, and they begin to gather up on him. Earnhardt taking the high side again. He rides the rail a little, trying to find some room on Tim Richmond. Neither man has ever won here at Richmond.
Darrell Waltrip has probably saved his tires as well as anyone in making his charge to the front. He's started to get under Dale Earnhardt going in turn one. Didn't quite make it.
That's Richmond line now. Here comes that 3-up, and watch the 11 car. Watch the 11 car to scoot off the corners. You see a little smoke smoldering out the back of number 3.
That's those tires up in that high groove.
The 11
just a little bit.
And there's that 11 car of Waltrip as we have a 3-way battle developing for 3rd position. Richmond in the 27, the blue and yellow car of Earnhardt, the 1980 national champion, and the 2-time Grand National champion on the inside. And now you can, looks like a fender I might even be rubbing on car number 3.
No, he was just sideways. He was really burning that right rear tire as he came off that corner.
Number 11 taking another shot going up the inside of the back straightaway. Here he comes down low. He's there. He pushes the nose inside. Waltrip fighting for the 4th position overall on the event. Here they are off the line. Earnhardt still trying to counterattack and find the line again, but it is Waltrip on the bottom. Darrell Waltrip and Earnhardt side by side into turn number 2. Earnhardt gets it back. That's true grit. That's just real spirit.
He really is. Darrell's going to try him again. He's not about to give up.
Back with the leaders. 12 and 33. That battle continuing. It is side by side. 11 and 3 going into turn number 1. Waltrip way down low. And Earnhardt has found some room to run on the high side that seems to pull him off that second turn and run him right back up into the position.
Really gets an excellent fight getting off the second one. He's got Darrell in behind the slow car now. He's got 3rd spot, 4th spot again.
They get around the only Chrysler product in the field, and Earnhardt, for the moment, has the position. At the STP Pit Center, here's Dave Despain.
If you've just joined us, let's run down the top 15 running positions here in the Richmond 400 as Neil Bonham leads the race, holding off Harry Gant, who is really charging, one of the most experienced short trackers in the business. The surprise of the race is Tim Richmond running 3rd. Dale Earnhardt, after a collision on pit road, has scrambled back into 4th spot. Then we run further down to Bill Elliott, who is hanging on to 5th spot, and he is hooked up right by that Darrell Waltrip, who is 6th. Bodine, Ron Bouchard, Kyle Petty, and Terry Labonte, after that crash, has settled into 10th spot and is trying to regain ground from a lap down. Further back in the field, 2-time winner Dave Marcus, Daytona runner-up Blake Speed, the veteran David Pearson, the USAC star Ken Schrader, and Lenny Pond, whose little brother won the state wrestling championship last week. Now let's go to Darrell Waltrip's pit as he charges up through traffic. For a report, here's Glenn Jarrett.
Okay, we're here with Jeff Hammond, the crew chief on Darrell Waltrip's car. Jeff, for a while there, Darrell fell back like there was something wrong. Now he's making a real strong charge. Is everything okay on the car?
Tire got in front of us, couldn't get out of the pits, and we got tired up by the traffic. So right now the car's working real well, and Darrell's just having to drive a little bit harder right now to get back to the front. I think we get back to the front, I think everything's going to be A-okay.
Okay, that's the report from Darrell Waltrip's pit. Everything seems to be A-okay.
For 10 laps, they've been going at it here. Waltrip on the inside, Earnhardt on the outside. They pull up on Jimmy Means, who fights for everything he can get. He made a little over $20,000 at Daytona last week, one of the better payoffs for Jimmy Means out of Alabama, and he's struggling just as much as the big teams out here. Doesn't want to give an inch to anyone.
Boy, Darrell Waltrip was there, though. He was there, and he is just, he feels so badly right now because had Jimmy Means not been there coming off the 4th corner, he might have had that spot.
225 laps complete. Again, Waltrip on the bottom of the track. Right beside him in our live coverage, that's Dale Earnhardt, a 2-time winner, the Richmond 400, number 11, on the bottom of the track. Waltrip moves in. Earnhardt, who's been a runner-up but has never won it, stays right there, and they continue to run wheel to wheel, lap after lap, before a record crowd.
And meanwhile, while they're doing that, the leaders are pulling away. Tim Richmond has driven up. He's on the back bumper of Harry Gant. Harry Gant on the back bumper of Neil Bonnet. And that trio is pulling away while Earnhardt and Waltrip race.
We'll be back with more of the thrilling live action of the Richmond 400 on Superstation WTBS after these messages.
American Revolution.
Shotgun Rapids, Idaho, and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. The shotgun means white water at its best. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp, Old Milwaukee beer. And smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
And Old Milwaukee.
And Old Milwaukee Light.
Taste as great as their name.
You know, guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
The company that has sparked more winners than any other company in the world has guaranteed performance for your car. Copper Plus, designed to improve the performance of just about every import or domestic car sold in America. Copper Plus, guaranteed to perform better, or we'll give you your money back. Copper Plus, the easiest and simplest way to improve performance, because nothing sparks like a champion. Guaranteed.
Just hear the stock cars rolling down that high bank track. Better keep your eye on number 5, cause he ain't looking back. That's Levi Garrett.
Yehuda.
Coming through.
And Harry Hyde.
Taste that flavor coming through for you. Time after time, the quality comes through. That's why Levi Garrett is the brand I'm proud to choose. Levi Garrett.
234 of 400 laps have been completed at the Virginia State Fairgrounds. The battle is all on the point. It is between Neil Bonnet, making those instinctive moves that made him such a great short track champion out of Alabama, and this man, number 27, Tim Richmond, Ashland, Ohio, who has just overhauled number 33, Harry Gant, to take over in second position. Gant sustains third. Earnhardt is fourth. Waltrip is fifth. And incidentally, David Pearson's not here. On that 15-card rundown, we had number 16. That is Butch Lindley's new team. And David probably very pleased with how well he's running watching at home today. Number 12, Bonnet stays first. And there you see the exact interval into turn number 3 between those leaders. Let's go down to pit road for this report.
What went wrong today?
Right ahead, he pegged the heat needle, must push the water out, and about so quick it looked right over the lap and blew it down.
Okay, unusually warm weather here for Richmond in the fall. Do you think that the warm weather had anything to do with your problem?
I don't think so. I had an old set of cast iron heads, and I'm a college graduate at the house. That's the way it goes.
Okay, thank you, J.D.
One of the most liked and respected of the privateers, J.D. McDuffie. There's another one. Ronnie Thomas in the 41 who stays out there. Look at 27. Richmond make the move. And there's where the chessboard changes so quickly out here. You pull up, you find a lap car right there where you want to be.
5 leaders in the same shot coming off the corner.
On a half-mile track.
This is wonderful.
Tim Richmond sideways as he pulls around Clark Dwyer out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. There's Schrader in the 90, the Junie Donlevy car just in front of them as they approach 3. And for the first time in the last 40 laps, there's a little bit of breathing room for Neil Bonnet, the leader. Give him about 10 car lengths as he scoots into turn number 1. Then you see Tim Richmond in second, and they are wearing those tires out like the eraser on the top of a... Oh, into the head-on, number 12. Neil Bonnet, the leader, looked like he lost a tire and slammed straight into the barrier. Out of turn number 2. Crashes head-on into the wall for the second straight week. Misfortune dogs Neil Bonnet through the fence. Now, the last car to really penetrate and go through the fence was Bobby Allison. Several years ago in qualifying, went right through the first turn fence. And this will be a lengthy caution, Benny. It's going to take a while to fix that piece of landscape.
They're going to have to fix the fence, but it was practicing. I was following Bobby. Can you imagine what I felt like when I followed him down the first corner? He went through the fence.
Neil Bonnet, straight through the fence. 33, Harry Gant is on pit road. We are under caution. This is the 5th caution of the day as the leader, Neil Bonnet, straight into the barrier. Tire rule here.
The tire rule, that time I think Tim Richmond changed the left side tires. If Jerry Garrett or Glenn Jarrett is someplace around that Old Milwaukee pit, I'd like to know if he did not change lefts. Everyone else I know has changed rights. A different strategy there.
Neil Bonnet ready to clamber out of car number 12, and he has taken a solid lick. I mean, you hit a wall like that, that's a right hook to the head. Takes off the steering wheel. His body will be sore. His wife, Susan, you may have seen her a week ago. The discouragement, the agony of losing a race as he did last week in the way he walks away.
I don't think this is a tire rule that caused this problem. I think if he had a problem with a tire, that he ran over something and cut a tire. I think that, you know, we've had reports from the pits that the tires are not wearing today. They're not wearing out. So it's not the tire rule that's caused the problem.
Let's go to Jerry Garrett.
Well, the report, Ken, in Neil Bonnet's pits is that he radioed in. He blew a tire. That's what caused him to go through the fence.
Neil Bonnet, victimized by this treacherous old half-mile track, and his hopes of winning this race for the first time, all gone. Fence torn up. He is okay. Bobby Allison stopping to see if he's all right. That's the concern of one member of the Alabama gang for another.
That's kind of neat. That really is neat. Bobby can't win the race. He's several laps down. It doesn't matter if he stops and lets a few cars go by him. He stopped to make sure his friend was okay. Very nice move on Bobby Allison's part.
So Neil Bonnet becomes the latest victim, and they bring out the fencing to replace the part torn up by Neil Bonnet, as once again he takes the longest walk in motorsport, and it's sure not baseball walking in to replace a pitcher. Bonnet out. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Just hear the stock cars rolling down that high bank track. Better keep your eye on number 5, cause he ain't looking back. That's Levi Garrett.
Yehuda.
Coming through.
And Harry Hyde.
Taste that flavor coming through for you. Time after time, the quality comes through. That's why Levi Garrett is the brand I'm proud to choose. Levi Garrett.
If you've got what it takes and really care, there's a special kind of life you'll want to share. Serving your country is a special call. It's good for you. It's good for all. Not all who try fit the bill. It calls for brains. It calls for skill in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. High-tech and the services go hand in hand. It's a whole new world. You're in demand in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You'll move up. You'll feel proud. You'll stand out above the crowd in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. But most of all, you'll earn the respect of the people and country you're there to protect in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
This Bud's for everyone who scrapes it, sprays it, and lays it on smooth.
This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
Kind of hustle and bustle. There's customers that are pulling you this way, and you need to get your paperwork done, and I get a little grouchy when I'm hungry.
Satisfies you.
The Snickers bar comes in right about 3:34, fits in perfectly, fills me up. I'm not hungry anymore.
Packed with fresh peanuts, peanut butter nougat, caramel, and milk chocolate.
Satisfies you.
Packed with peanuts, Snickers really satisfies.
Fills me up. I'm satisfied. I can go back to work, and I can go on until dinner.
Neil Bonnet will not change his luck today. Walking back, he's come all around the third and fourth turn, and he survived this crash in turn number 2. Leader coming off the second turn. Right up out here, you can see it hook.
Car just going perfectly, and then all of a sudden the right front tire gives way. He hits the brakes, but talk about a sudden stop, Ken.
And that's what hurts.
That's what hurts.
You can roll a car 2 or 3 times and not take the amount of G's and the hurt you get out of something like that. Unfortunate situation for Neil Bonnet out of this race. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett with Neil Bonnet now.
Okay, we're here with Neil Bonnet. Neil, terrible tragedy there. You had a big lead, looked like you were running away. What went wrong with the car?
Well, I don't know. Going in the first turn, it felt like the front tire fell down. When I saw the right front drop down right in the middle of the corner, the thing just took off. I had the wheels cut and I couldn't turn and went straight in the fence.
But you are okay?
Well, messed up a good race car. I don't know what it felt like a tire went out.
Sorry to have tough luck.
That is
impact.
Terrible terrible impact. Again, that makes me not want to do this. That's awful.
Red flag condition is coming out here at the Virginia State Fairgrounds. They have so much repair work to do as this car, number 12, shot through the second turn fence, and we will have a red flag condition while they repair the track with 246 laps complete. This car, number 75, Lake Speed, is being shown in the 10th position overall in the field. Last week, Lake Speed had the greatest race of his life when he finished second in the Daytona 500. It was a marvelous moment for him. For many, it was the first time they got to meet this young Mississippi driver. So let's take a look at Lake Speed.
Little southern boy that was born, you know, the last child in line in a family, a very nice family, well-off family. My father started out, I think when he was 18 years old, he put a plow down out in South Mississippi, plowing a mule, and said, I don't think I'm going to go to town and strike out for my fortune. He did well. I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, if you want to call it that way.
I think we have seen in motorsports one of your best moments when we saw you finish second in the Daytona 500. What's been the hardest?
I guess in 1978, when I won the World Championships in Le Mans, France, I had spent 19 years of my life, a lot of hard hours, a lot of 7-day-a-week, all day and all night deals. In the meantime, try not to get emotional about this, but I lost a wife and a child through the divorce. And the commitment that I had made to racing had a lot to do with that.
That it was
Just
such
too
a big,
much.
yeah. That
too much. I didn't do them right. I know that today. I guess I may wind up getting known as a crybaby on TV.
Right, but I understand.
It's real, you know, and life is real. And it's not all shiny new race cars. And when we get to heaven, there's not going to be any race cars, I don't believe. You know, I won the World Championships, and I felt like I was the biggest zero in the face of the earth 24 hours later. You know, I looked at that trophy, and I said, you know, 19 years for this.
The America that saw you in the Daytona 500 probably came away with a feeling that you were overwhelmed with your success in that event.
You know, I don't want anybody to think that Lake gets fired up and cries and does all this because he finished second. We all know we're there to win. That's the name of the game. I think the answered prayers, the blessings that came, the fact that we would be able to go on in a first-class manner now to make that assault on that first place and on that championship, that's what Lake is happy about, wasn't second place.
So how soon do you expect you're going to win the championship?
I think the Lord's the only one that knows that. I'm not one to put him in a box. You know, I don't think that we as human beings can limit the Lord.
A moving visit with Lake Speed and Ken Squire. Lake Speed, last week's runner-up at Daytona, charging here. But for the moment at Richmond, nobody is charging. A red flag has come out, and this race has been stopped for Neil Bonnet's crunch on the backstretch. Not for a problem for Neil or even for his race car. Neil is alive and well, as we have heard. And the car is all beat up. This is the problem. It's the backstretch wall. Neil took a big chunk of it, took a big bite out of that wall. And so now they're trying to clean up the damage. And in order to give the crews access to that corner of the racetrack, they have stopped the race cars and parked them along pit road. Now let's get an update on the activity there from Glenn Jarrett.
Okay, we're standing by with Darrell Waltrip. Darrell, an unexpected break here. Do you welcome a break like this or rather keep running?
Well, you know, it certainly doesn't hurt anything. I can run down here and get a hot dog, I guess, but I just soon kept running. My car is...
Right. Your car looked like it fell back for a little while there. Then you really came on strong here lately. Everything going to suit you right now?
Yeah, it is. The problem is we're set up to run on the same set of tires all day, and these cautions are really hurting us. We just soon to see the race go green all the time. I wasn't planning on changing but once or twice today. So we're geared for it, we're set up for it, and that's why we're not running good as some of the cars do when they get tire changes.
Okay, that's the word from Darrell Waltrip. Let's go now to Jerry Garrett for another report.
We're here with Bobby Allison. Bobby, that was a heck of a crash your protege took, Neil Bonnet.
Yeah, it was. You know, I feel real bad that seems like Neil just can't get a break. He drives so hard, and he's such a tremendous competitor, and really, in my book, a great guy, too, and he just can't get a break. I feel for him.
You're having a tough day, too. What was the problem on your car?
Near as I can tell, either a fuel line clogged up or something happened to the fuel pressure, and they worked on it and got it fixed. It's working good now.
You're out there now running about as fast as anybody, though.
Yeah, we were quick enough. You know, we had got into the lead, and we felt like we were in good shape to win the race, and then we had our troubles, and now all I want to do is try to keep from bending the car up, you know, finish the race and run good, but I don't want to stick my nose in there anywhere.
Bobby, this has got to be one of the hottest days we've had at this race in February. Is it bothering the track a lot? Is it upsetting the cars?
Well, there are a lot of conditions that are different here. They use the new beer grease on the track, and we got a new tire that really, it sticks better, but when you get into a gooey spot, you're relying on it, and then you go for a big slide, and I think everybody's having a problem with that. And the warm weather, of course, I really appreciate that. You know, I suffer in the wintertime, and you know, it's a nice warm day. It's my ideal kind of day, just too bad we had problems.
Let's go on down pit road with Glenn Jarrett.
Okay, we're standing by now with Dale Earnhardt. Dale's using this unexpected brake to do a little headgear adjustment. Dale, what's the problem there?
Well, we had a ear plug on my radio set that wasn't working, and we just went and changed it. So, you know, just give us a chance to take the helmet off, cool off a little bit, and go back to racing here a little bit.
Right. Does the car seem to be working satisfactorily right now?
Well, a little altercation in the pit, bent the tie rod front end up on it a little bit, but Neil had a pit roadblock, and I pulled out around him and carried the line and clipped the right front, and you know, it knocked the front end out. It handling quite as good as it was at the first race when Darrell and I run together, but we adjusted on it and getting it back, and it's coming back. Plus, I'm getting used to driving it towed out.
Right. Tough race. It's a little warmer than you used to here in February.
Yeah, it is. The car's a little bit hotter than what we expected, and we've got an oil tank up front this time instead of in the back, and it's made the cockpit a little hotter, so we're going to have to do some more adjustment on that too, frying my foot.
Okay, that's a report from Dale Earnhardt. Thanks, Dale. Good luck. Here we go back to Jerry Garrett.
We're here with Lake Speed. Lake, this is a little bit more like Mississippi weather, hot and humid today.
It really is. I think it caught everybody by surprise a little bit. I know the guys, a lot of them been sitting up over the winter kind of stuffing the groceries away and whatnot. I'm sure if you look in those floorboards, there's probably a whole lot of wintertime laying on the floorboards.
How tough is it on your car out there?
Oh, that's not tough, man. This is a cakewalk compared to Darlington in August.
Are you able to keep up the way you want to in this race? You had such a good race last week.
Really, I'm rough on the short track. We didn't run very much at all last year. I think 1 or 2 races was all. So I'm a little rough around the edges. They gave me an awfully good race car, and if we get her dialed in exactly right, I think we'll be in good shape. There's been times during the race today we've run as good as anybody. It's just I've been a little erratic, I think. So as soon as I can kind of get the driver dialed in and screwed down, I think we can take that Nationwide Pontiac. We'll be chasing these boys real hard.
Well, this is a guy that's being heard from a lot lately. Lake Speed. Back to you, Ken.
Let's take a look around this half-mile Virginia State Fairgrounds, Richmond, Virginia, where after 246 laps, the race has been red flagged. We are past the halfway mark under perfect conditions. Seldom has it been as warm and as pleasant as it is today. Here you see the field at rest in turn number 4, getting prepared for a start. They're fixing the fence on the back straightaway out of turn number 2, where car number 12 was impaled after it went head-on and through the barrier. Tim Richmond leads, Waldrop is second, Gant is third, Earnhardt fourth, Bodine fifth, Elliott sixth, Bouchard seventh, Kyle Petty eighth, Labonte ninth, Speed 10th, Lake Speed 10th, Marcus 11th, Butch Lindley 12th, Schrader 13th, Lenny Pond 14th, Bobby Hillin 15th, Clark Dwyer 16th as they lie in rest. Here are some of the folks who turned out in record numbers, partially because of the weather and a great deal because of the tremendous job they do at Richmond in entertaining the fans here. They have the biggest crowd they've ever had, as we mentioned before, to enjoy this day and what has been a classic race.
An absolute class. One of the best races I have ever seen at Richmond Fairgrounds Raceway. When the Neil Bonnet hit the fence over coming off the second corner, 5 cars, the first 5 cars were in the same frame coming off the corner on the television. Amazing race, and we still have 4 or 5 competitors that can give us a tremendous race right to the end.
Well, let's take a look now from 84 to 80 at past winners of this event. Ricky Rudd, of course, last year. Allison won in 83, and it's interesting to note that in 84 and 83, both drivers came in hurt from Daytona. Remember, Ricky and then Bobby Allison from his incidents at Daytona in 83 piled up 2 or 3 cars at Daytona. Dave Marcus, the surprise winner in a curtailed race in 82, and Waltrip back-to-back in 1980 and 81, and of course knocking on the door again the last couple of years.
The last year I was here was 1982. When Dave Marcus won the race, I was leading the race. Win the pits. It rained.
And there you were.
And there I was on the racetrack. Jerry Garrett has a report from down on pit road. Jerry?
Drivers is still in his car. Here's Harry Gant. Harry, you must be pretty comfortable.
Well, I just soon stay in as get out, then have to get back in, hook up again. You know, you done got comfortable in the car, and your uniform's done got soaked real good. You get out, it gets cold, you get back in, you got to hook up, and makes you, all your seat belts will shrink, and then they got to stretch again when they get wet and dry.
Early in the race, you were a little farther back than you've been running lately. What was the problem then?
Well, we're just taking it easy. We got hooked in the pits that first time. We put it behind Kyle, and I don't know why Kyle started backing up real fast, dragging his gas man and his gas can. And they fell on my hood and poured gas down the air scoop here. I don't know why it didn't catch my car on fire, but it flooded my motor out, and it wouldn't crank. Well, then we was at the back of the pack, and we've had some off and on stops all day. And so we had to come in and left 2 lugs off the wheel. So we're at the back of the pack again.
Now, it's been extra hot out here today. Is it making the track more slippery than you thought it would be?
Well, the track is it's really slick. I don't know if it's any slicker than it has been or not. It's probably warmer than any day we've raced here in a good while, but the track is so slick, the car just goes into a drift. You know, everybody that leads the race runs around the bottom of the racetrack real low, and you got to stop the pace back so much to keep someone from passing. So it's very hard to pass here. Then if you get up, try to run the high groove, which I was thinking about it a while ago, and I come in on a pit stop and we had a tire leaking down. And so I assumed a while ago maybe Neil, when you run high, the chances are you may pick up something and cut a tire.
Final question. Are you running good enough to win?
Well, we're running. We got a real fast car. It's the best car I've had. I've never been able to get out front where I can really let it out. You know, I'm always hooked behind somebody, and you just can't pass them on the straightaway. So I don't know. I'm not going to do any prediction. I'm at the back of the pack, so got a long way to go yet.
We'll keep an eye on it as the race goes on. Let's go to Dave Despain in the Pit Communication Center.
We are under a red flag condition here at Richmond. The race has been stopped. Neil Bonnet crashing on the backstretch, poking a hole in the wall. The crews are working on the wall now, and that's the reason for the red flag. The race has been stopped. It's been a roller coaster race. Harry Gant talking there about how he'd gone to the front, and now he's back at the back. That's been the story all day. Tim Richmond started the race in 16th spot. He's worked his way all the way to the front. One of the reasons is tires. The crew chief on the car, Barry Dodson, tells us they ran 241 laps on the left side tires. They didn't change them until they came in just now. He says the car is very well balanced. It's handling very well. But, he says, we're going to have to see what happens when we go back to green. Consider Darrell Waltrip. Fast qualifier, set a track record here of over 95 miles an hour. One of 9 drivers in the qualifying to break the old track record. He ran up front in the early going, came in, changed the car just a little bit, changed a set of tires, went to the back, and has had to scramble to get back into second spot. Dale Earnhardt was second during the early running and reeled Waltrip in from a full straightaway behind, as you may recall, during the early laps. Then he tangled on pit road with Terry Labonte, the Grand National champion. Bent up the race car, went to the back. He has, too, scrambled his way back into third position. Jeff Bodine, runner-up during the early running. Looked like he was a contender to take the lead from Waltrip. He backed off a little bit, according to his crew chief, Harry Hyde, to save the brakes on the car so that they'll have something for the end of the race. Down here in 5th, Bill Elliott started 13th after his great run at Daytona. He managed to get himself up as high as 3rd, but then the car faded again into the back. It's that old Richmond magic. These guys, all the crew chiefs, all wear caps with their sponsors' names on them, but they could wear those pointy-top sorcerer's hats as they go looking around in the pot to try to find the combination. Take that around this place quickly. And the guy with the worst ride of all on the roller coaster, of course, Neil Bonnet. He was leading the race. He was solid out front of the Junior Johnson entry, and then boom, he's into the fence, and this race is under red flag for Neil's crash.
Drivers have been told to report back to their cars, and we're getting ready on a restart. Today, following the Richmond 400, you'll see the Boston Celtics take on the Indiana Pacers. Let's join Rick Berry and Bill Russell now for a few comments about that upcoming contest that'll be next on W. We're going to hold on that report from the Market Square Arena out in Indiana. Celtics and Pacers will be next this afternoon following our contest at Richmond, Virginia. And we'll be getting a word, we hope, from Rick Barry and Bill Russell just a bit later this afternoon. While the drivers are told to get back in their cars, and already the trucks are leaving the back straightaway off turn number 2. And very shortly, we're going to have a command to refire the engine after a spell under a red flag condition. A breather for some of the drivers. As you heard Harry Gant say, he didn't want to get out of his car and get cooled off.
He was comfortable, and you really are comfortable. You're in there. You have gotten yourself in position. All the aches and pains that you're going to have today, you've already have them. And if you get out, when you get back in the car, you're going to get another set of aches and pains. So why have 2 sets?
Let's go to Jerry Garrett.
Well, Benny Parsons asked us a little while ago which tires did Tim Richmond change on his last stop. They changed left-side tires. They changed rights both times earlier. They decided they needed left more this time. They think they can go all the rest of the way on these lefts and be very competitive.
Ray Melton has given the familiar cry twice in this race for them to start their engines, and indeed they do, with Tim Richmond leading, Waltrip in 2nd, Earnhardt 3rd, Bodine 4th, Elliott 5th, Bouchard 6th, Kyle Petty 7th, Gannon 8th, Labonte 9th, and Lake Speed in 10th as we get ready to resume here. 8 cars run in the lead lap, and as Harry Gant pointed out, because they were missing a couple of lug nuts, they will go to the back of that lead lap.
That's a terrible break for Harry Gant. I noticed he made an unscheduled pit stop a moment ago, and I was trying to ask him exactly what they were doing. It appears now as they were putting on a couple of lug nuts. I felt like that maybe we're doing something else, but I guess not. But he is at the back of the pack, and it's a long way to the front.
Particularly the way these cars are running today. Harry Gant coming back out here. He was 8th a year ago, 5th in 83. His best finish in this race was that 5th in 83. Back in 81, had a 6th place in the Richmond 400. So the field is once again moving, getting set to resume the Richmond 400 this afternoon. The delay has been created when the car of Neil Bonnet, while in the lead, apparently cut a tire down, leaving turn number 2, and he didn't have time to touch the brakes. Here he is, coming off turn 2, leading this race, and all of a sudden...
Right now he touched the brakes, just inches away from the guardrail. And can you imagine how suddenly that car stopped?
Did you notice how close that 27 was to getting collected in that one? He could have taken the back end off that car, and that's where you often have someone hurt. After that immediate stop, and you come back and your seatbelt just begins to give a little, then you have someone take you from the back and shorten that rear end of the car up 3 or 4 feet. The red flag was out 14 minutes, 54 seconds. And we are ready to get back to it, get on with this event. And there are the remains of car number 12, Neil Bonnet's car back in the garage.
You know, last week in Daytona, he almost collected that inside guardrail when he blew the engine just 3 or 4 laps to go. What a tough break that would have been to have 2 cars torn up 2 races in a row. I noticed that Kyle Petty pitted the 711 Ford just a moment ago, and that tells me that all these cars can go the rest of the way.
A lot of people felt last week at Daytona that several people over-revved their engines after a caution period, coming back up, trying to chase down that number 9. Warm day today here, a lot of cars running the lead lap. Usually by now we'd be down to 2 or 3, sometimes 4, but not like we have today. Is weather going to have any factor on these motors today, or are they bulletproof?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think that the weather last week caused the problem. I think that the problem was caused on the caution flag, yes, but there was a group of cars trying to catch up with the field, and I think in that process we ran the car at half throttle. And during that time, we leaned the engine down. It wasn't getting enough fuel in it, and we all burned pistons.
Red flag condition, cooling them off, getting them back up, any problem?
That might be a problem. Yes, that could be a problem, because when you turn them off, the heat's going to go up. Now, once they start them back and cool them off, they may have water leaks. That would be the only problem. Tim Richmond tries to get a jump on Terry Labonte. The green flag waves.
So they come around to complete 250 this time of the 400 laps to be run on this half-mile track. Tim Richmond tears away out in front. Harry Gant having to work his way back up from the tail end of the lead lap. 8 cars running in the lead lap. The number 44 car, Terry Labonte, is a lap car. And it's Tim Richmond's race to lead for the moment. horsepower ground out plus by each of those cars as they streak on across that start-finish line. From the in-car camera, take a look at it. Hustle down into turn number 3. Slide just a little. Bill Parsons in the Skoll, car number 17. Down in front of his capacity house. Right behind Harry Gant, the 8th place car.
Harry Gant looks like he's having problems. He must maybe got the car sideways or something. He's certainly is dropping back.
Indeed he is. Gant falling away after that stout run he made earlier. In fact, here's Bill Parsons trying to move around it. And there's something wrong on car number 33. He is way off the pace on his restart.
I think the crew motion to the left side. I think he has a flat tire on the left side. Tough break.
Wonder if he ran over something out there. Look at the leaders as number 3, Earnhardt, crowd, noses his way right underneath Waltrip. No respect for a 2-time Grand National champion. Earnhardt wants this race. Look at him, sticks that nose in there and go for 2nd place. That car may be beaten and battered. That's a running machine. Number 33, Gant on pit road. Have to go a lap down right here. Right side rubber. And Gant. A lap down.
Now Waltrip is fading back.
And Bodine is pulling up under Waltrip. Jeff Bodine making a run for 3rd spot. Here's Jeff Bodine at number 5, and Waltrip is falling back a little. There you see Bobby Allison, several laps down.
Mysteries.
No mystery about this leader right now. That's Tim Richmond. That car is hockey. Tim Richmond. 3rd here a year ago. Number 27, the maroon and gold car. And number 3, Earnhardt. In that 2nd position, 2 car lengths back. And he seems to get just so much better run into those corners. That number 3 Earnhardt car.
He really does, but he's running a little bit higher groove than some of the other cars, and that's one reason that he can go in the turns a little harder than some of the other fellows.
Remember, Tim Richmond brought that Pontiac from 14th starting position. Tim Richmond started 14th on the day. He is out in front. Meanwhile, a man in 2nd place, number 3 Earnhardt, started 4th, battered down on pit road earlier. Is there and close enough, taking a higher line through turns 1 and 2 as he attempts to chase down Tim Richmond. Laps complete, 2:59 this time by. Remarkable pictures of that bonnet climax to this race. Incredible amount of force he took and how lucky Tim Richmond was that he didn't nip the back end of that car and destroy his hopes today, and possibly those of Earnhardt too. That could have been a 4 or 5 car jam session, as Benny Parsons was telling you early. All running together and all running tightly out there. Something happens to a leader like that, and often it's a foursome or a quintet that finds themselves in trouble.
Exactly right, and they're very fortunate that more than one car was involved in that.
Bodine lies 3rd. Now there is that number 3 car. That 3 just seems to glide those corners a little more than 27, which cracks a little harder.
You know, Earnhardt all day, the first few laps after a caution lane, hasn't been the dominant force, but he gets better as the tires get hotter, or appears to.
Here he is, getting about a 5-car length advantage now. Trying to draw away is Tim Richmond, and this is the first daylight he's had today. And the only one to have a bigger lead was briefly Neil Bonnet, and on a brief occasion back in the first 100 laps, Waltrip had himself about a 12-car length advantage. But that's been it.
Yes, it is. Glenn Jarrett has something for us on pit road. Glenn?
Okay, we're in Harry Gant's pit. Harry's felt the misfortunes of the cut tire also. You can see the circle around the tire here. There is a puncture mark. This racetrack tends to have a lot of debris build up on it, and on that restart, Harry must have run over something and cut the tire. Very, very costly happening for him.
Talked to Terry Labonte. We're talking about Waltrip bringing a car 2 years older. I asked Terry Labonte about the number 44 car, that Piedmont car that came in here. I said, this is the same car you ran last year? And he said, quote, yep, same one as last year, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before. A real workhorse, that number 44. It's battered, but it's still out here and still running in 9th position. Terry Labonte chasing Ron Bouchard in number 47. Now, the Bouchard car is 6th overall on the field, Benny. At number 47 of Bouchard. And again, he's in fellow who grew up on the half miles in New England, Thompson, Connecticut, Stafford Springs, knows these courses well. And he's having himself a pretty fair day in the BB car.
He really is. He and Jeff Bodine ought to be as good as anyone out there today on this type of racetrack. One of the most exciting races I have ever witnessed in my life was at Martinsville, Virginia, between Jeff Bodine and Ron Bouchard. They ran side by side, nose to tail all day long. And they grew up on this kind of racetrack and really know how to get around.
We asked Terry Labonte about this Richmond track and how hard a race it was. We'll be getting to that report from Terry Labonte shortly. Terry Labonte, number 44, still holding on in ninth. That is Bouchard running directly in front of him in the 6th position. Now notice number 33, Gant. They sure have their problems there. They are a lap down on the field. Harry Gant's number 33. Kyle Petty is in 7th. Bouchard is 6th. Elliott is in 5th. Waldrop is in 4th. Bodine 3rd. Earnhardt 2nd. And Richmond leads the way.
Gant is really moving, though. He is really going. Just passes Dave Marcus on the outside. Draws a bead on Terry Labonte. That's for position. I think he and Labonte both are a lap down.
Average speed has been reported through 240 laps. Red time not counting at 71.147. 71.147. Let's get that report from Terry Labonte on just how hard a race this is here at Richmond.
Well, I don't know. I hope we are. It's kind of a tough racetrack sometimes to really get your car working the way you want to. Some days, if you got it working good, it's a good day for you. And if your car's off a little bit, it makes a long day.
Terry Labonte, his car got really whacked, and here he is out a little, and there's Harry Gant. Still trying to pick up positions, get himself back into this race. A lap down after an unscheduled stop. Tire problem put him back. Dale Inman, who takes such pride in that number 44. Car sure does not look like an Inman car right now.
No, it doesn't.
It's like something from South Boston after a Saturday night. A lot of great racing in Virginia. While North Carolina likes to take pride in claiming North Carolina as the racing territory, Virginians are very, very proud and feel their racing is most special on tracks like the Old Dominion Speedway and Southside Speedway. Over the years, they've developed some great racers, and it's interesting that among the tickets purchased for things like the World 600, Virginia leads the way over the number of seats sold. There are the leaders. It's Tim Richmond still first, and Earnhardt maintaining the 2nd position. And is he waiting on him, or do you think Earnhardt
Well, we've
doing all he's got?
We've noticed this all day. On a restart, Dale Earnhardt is not a dominant car until 30 or 40 laps into the run, and then his car becomes strong for another 40, 50 laps. Then he seems to be about equal with anyone. I would think in the next 10 or 15 laps, if he's going to make a run, it'll be in the next 10 or 15 laps.
More from the Virginia State Fairgrounds of the Richmond 400 after these messages.
Presenting beauty in motion, the Dodge Lancer. Its fluid lines are graceful, captivating. Its sleek body glides through the wind. Dodge Lancer. With room, space, and virtually every electronic convenience available. And Lancer has a fuel-injected engine with optional turbocharger, so you know what to expect. Great performance.
Sounds like there's a bear in the beer.
What are we going to do?
I'll be right back.
Where's he going?
He's going to get that beer from that bear.
That's not just a bear. That's a grizzly.
Yeah, but that's not just a beer. That's fire-brewed Stroh's. I thought we had 3 cases.
Well, had to make a deal.
Stroh's and Stroh Light, fire-brewed for smoother taste.
There's more for your life at Sears.
If you think you know Sears catalog, wait till you see this. Sears' new spring catalog is hot and cool. Not at all the catalog your mother knew. See what I mean? It's smart, daring, sassy. Yes, it's Sears Catalog. Let the colors splash. We're afraid of nothing, just like you. It's amazing what a touch here and there can do. And Sears Catalog does it. Come on, confess. These are looks you can't resist. And why should you?
Sears' new spring catalog is yours for only $4. Get your copy at your Sears store or call our toll-free number.
Sears Catalog is so easy to use, you probably will. Again and again.
Can it be Sears Catalog?
Can it be? Believe it.
There's more for your life at Sears.
Feeling the hot breath of Dale Earnhardt. And here in the SCC Pit Center, those are big names here as we get back to green flag racing and the laps begin to wind down here in the Richmond 400. Does Earnhardt have something to show Richmond? Well, let's find out.
280 laps are now complete. And there you see Earnhardt drawing a bead on number 27 and closing to within 1 car length. There is an interval now of approximately 3.5, building to 4 seconds between the second place car, Earnhardt in the number 3, and Jeff Bodine, who stays third. Waltrip lies fourth, Elliott fifth. Bouchard is in sixth. Here's number 3 taking a try on that higher line, Benny Parsons.
He's going back to the outside groove that he did have some success with a moment ago. I would be surprised if he's able to pass one of those really good cars up on the high side, though.
We understand there's an interruption in our picture from Richmond, Virginia. We'll continue to describe the event to you live as it's happening here, audio-wise. The 2 leaders are down in turn number 1. Tim Richmond first, and the number 3 car of Dale Earnhardt in second. They have just put a lap on the Jimmy Means car. 27 stays first, 3 in second, Earnhardt. Number 5, Bodine is in third. Darrell Waltrip is in fourth. Bill Elliott fifth. Ron Bouchard in sixth. Miles Henry in seventh. Harry Gant maintains the 8th position. Now, number 33, Gant is trying to take a lap back from number 9, Bill Elliott, who is running a brand new car here today. Not happy with their short track program a year ago. They've come out fresh out of the box in the Elliott family to try and get their short track program together. And Harry Gant's number 33 is nose, the green and white car underneath the red and white of number 9 as they exit turn number 4 side by side with Gant on the bottom of the racetrack, and on the outside is Bill Elliott. Meanwhile, in the battle for the lead, Richmond and Earnhardt continue their own conflict. And Earnhardt is pulled up with almost a grasp for first spot. He stays within about 2 feet of the leader, the maroon and gold number 27. The yellow and blue number 3. A scorcher goes way down below the line, going into turn number 1. Looked like he just about put that front bumper against the tail end of number 27 out of turn 2. Going back to turn 3, they touch. In turn 3, Earnhardt closes up on Richmond again as they say, let's get physical out here.
I think if Dale Earnhardt gets by Tim Richmond, he's going to be awfully hard to catch. I think he's trying on the outside now, but he pulls up alongside, gets a real good shot coming off the second corner, and pulls up alongside Tim Richmond.
288 laps complete, and they are side by side. It is Richmond on the inside, Earnhardt on the outside. They are side by side out of turn number 4 in the main straightaway. Dale Earnhardt noses the Richard Childress car in front. In turn number 1, it is car number 27, Richmond taking it back. In turn number 2, Earnhardt goes back on top. In the back straightaway, it is Earnhardt, your leader. Earnhardt into first, Richmond the second. Now Richmond comes back on the bottom, but he can't get through, and Earnhardt has a clear first place after a tremendous duel. Dale Earnhardt into first. Richmond now lies second, about 4 feet back. He closes up in turn number 2 as he still relies on the low line, and all of a sudden
Earnhardt has moved up about a half a lane, is getting a tremendous fight getting off the corner. Although Tim Richmond does pull up alongside of it about the middle of the corner, generally touches Dale Earnhardt's bumper, but he can't make any headway. Now he is alongside of him, coming off turn 2.
Richmond down on the bottom. Gets underneath, but cannot get through. As great a race as there has ever been run at Richmond, this will go down as one of the better half-mile races on the Winston Cup Tour. Here's number 3, Earnhardt pulling away again, Benny Parsons. moves and leads by a car length into turn 1. And back again comes Richmond down low to take a shot at the lead.
Well, Dale Earnhardt is keep trying to find a better way around this racetrack. He moved up about a half a lane. That time he was up an entire lane. He's trying to find a better way, a way that he can drive away from Tim Richmond.
Dale Earnhardt, who's made some $2,680,000 in Winston Cup Grand National races, laps 10 greater as they go into turn number 1. Some more congestion just in front of him. 2 or 3 lap cars, and he scales around them on the outside. Lenny Pond falls to him another time. Clark Dwyer another time. And chasing after him goes number 27, Richmond, into turn 3 and 4. Coming back to the main straightaway. Having some video problems out of the Virginia State Fairgrounds. We'll continue our audio call with Denny Parsons. I'm Ken Squire. Alongside is Dave Despain. And down the track, Jerry Garrett and Glenn Jarrett to bring you the action today. It is now car number 3, leading by 3 car lengths. The biggest advantage that has been enjoyed by anyone is now being held by, in the last 25 laps, is being held by car number 3, the Earnhardt car.
But just a moment ago, when he went through turns 1 and 2 a moment ago, he found him a really quick groove, a really good way to get around that racetrack and pick up 5 or 6 car lengths on Tim Richmond.
Back to the STP pit center. Here's Dave Despain.
It'll be an interesting situation on Dale Earnhardt's car. He talked earlier about a radio problem they were having. We don't have any confirmation of a radio problem, but an interesting bit of evidence. Kurt Shelmerdine is the crew chief on that car. And about 30 seconds before Earnhardt passed Richmond, we asked him, one of our pit reporters asked him, how are you doing? He said, we're doing fine. We don't want to pass him now. It's too early. We want to save the tires. And within 2 laps, Earnhardt stood on the pedals, drove around Richmond, battled him side by side for about 4 or 5 laps. Perhaps Shelmerdine and Earnhardt aren't talking. Earnhardt definitely bound for the front.
1 year ago, Earnhardt had his best year, earning some $616,000 on the Winston Cup Tour. And here he is, one of the strong contenders to win at Daytona. Another one of those fellows who was victimized by the problems that went with that strange Daytona 500, leading now by 7 car lengths to Richard Childress, number 3. Richard Childress has had this team since 1969. He came out of Grand American ranks in stock car racing in NASCAR many years ago, formed his own team, drove his own car, was a pretty good privateer. He seems to really have the combination together to build a super team for Grand National Racing. And here he is with the overall lead. His driver, Dale Earnhardt, showing the way, now pulling away to a 12-car length advantage.
Dale Earnhardt and Richard Childress seem to have the chemistry that it takes to build a top-notch Grand National team. Dale Earnhardt right now is probably as impressive as I've seen today, looking all over this racetrack for the fast way around it. He's running the line that no one else around it. Now, Tim Richmond, I noticed, just moved up to that groove, and he's going to try to wow and see if he can make up some time on Dale Earnhardt.
299, 300 laps will be completed this time by. They are trying to correct the problems with our satellite uplink to bring you live pictures again from Richmond, Virginia. We'll continue our audio call from the track. 100 laps remain to the finish, and right now, Dale Earnhardt is commanding this race, the Richmond 400. More after these messages from Racing.
This buzz for everyone in the spotlight before the show begins. Just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
Hey, man, nice job.
This Bud presents.
These days, all kinds of fad diets are gaining popularity as more Americans try to lose weight. There are diets that are short on meat, diets that are low on protein. Some cut out almost everything but fruits and vegetables, and some even ask you to fast. But the best way to lose weight isn't with some gimmicky diet. It's by controlling your appetite, by exercising, and by eating a balanced diet with foods from the 4 basic groups. Poultry, meat, or fish for protein. Vegetables and fruit for vitamins and minerals. Breads and cereals for carbohydrates. And milk and cheeses for calcium. Any diet that doesn't include all of these important groups can do you more harm than good. So if you're considering a diet or are now on one, remember, there's no diet that can compare with a balanced diet. This food for thought was brought to you by Campbell Soup Company. We make all of these products, and we make sure every one of them is as good for you as it is good tasting. Campbell, we'd like to help more Americans eat right.
When you need a little lift, but you just can't take a break, chew Wrigley's Spearmint Gum.
The cool, refreshing feeling of Wrigley's Spearmint Gum puts a little lift in everything you do. That good, smooth chewing, that crisp, clean taste. That Wrigley's Spearmint pickup is going for you.
Wrigley's Spearmint Gum really keeps you humming. Wrigley's Spearmint Gum keeps you humming along. Wrigley's Spearmint Gum really keeps you humming. Wrigley's Spearmint Gum keeps you humming.
307 laps have been completed on the Richmond 400. There are still some satellite problems in getting our pictures back to Superstation WTBS from the Virginia State Fairgrounds, Richmond, Virginia, where the Winston Cup Tour is running their second race of 1985. We'll continue our audio coverage as Dale Earnhardt leads. Tim Richmond is in second, Jeff Bodine third, Darrell Waltrip fourth, Bill Elliott is in fifth. Ron Bouchard is in sixth, and Kyle Petty is in seventh. Those 7 cars in the lead lap. 8th spot is Harry Gant. Running 9th is Terry Labonte. In the 10th spot is Dave Marcus. 11th is Lake Speed. 12th is Butch Lindley. 13th is Ken Schrader. 14th is Bobby Hillen. Running 15th now is car number 48, Lenny Pond. The 16th position is Clark Dwyer. Ronnie Thomas is in 17th. Jimmy Means is 18th on the field. Bill Parsons is in 19th. And Bobby Allison is reported in the 20th position. The 21st position is the Buddy Arrington car with Phil Good at the controls this afternoon. There are 309 laps complete. Let's go back to the pit road.
Ken, there is a reason why Tim Richmond is no longer leading this race, and it has to do with tires. Richmond, as you remember, changed the left side tires on his last pit stop while everybody else changed their right side. Now they have a right side tire problem. They believe a tire is losing air, going flat. They're going to try and wait until a caution flag to save that tire and not have to lose a lap to change it. But if they don't get one very soon, they're going to have to come in here and take that lap loss.
Well, once again, we understand the satellite problem has been corrected, and we have pictures coming to you from the Virginia State Fairgrounds where we're watching a whopper of a race this afternoon. Dale Earnhardt, as stout and strong a Grand National racer as ever cinched up a seatbelt. He now has the advantage, and you see him taking that very high line over Tim Richmond. Now, Benny Parsons, many times we'll see them start low, then use the high side. Then the drivers that can really make their cars work will go back down to the bottom of the racetrack in the latter moments. And we're up to 312. Isn't it cool enough on the inside to get me work down there?
No, I think that right now Earnhardt has the groove. I tell you who is really running around there, Harry Gant. He has one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. He is running an entire different groove than Dale Earnhardt. I'd love to see those two guys hook up because we'd really see some side-by-side competition.
Well, we understand our satellite problems are not resolved now. I thought they had pictures out of here, and the old saying goes, it looks good out of here. But we'll try to bring you this description as it continues here with 313 laps complete. And we're watching number 33, Harry Gant, trying to move underneath the third place man, Jeff Bodine. He tagged it as he came off turn number 2. Butch Lindley's car is back on pit road another time.
Looks like he has a flat tire. They're going to the right side, changing the right sides on the car.
How about this? We have video again, Benny, so folks around America can enjoy this lovely day in Virginia and this great race. And now you're seeing Gant trying to get the lap back, but more important, number 11, Waltrip, is closing and trying to take third spot away from Bodine. Boy, Bodine's hanging right in there. Had a great top 10 finish last week at Daytona, and they intend to win the national championship this year. Look at Handsome Harry up on the outside in the Bandit, number 33.
He got a good shot coming off that second corner.
Remember, he had a tire problem. He went a lap down, and Gant's trying to take a little bit of ground back from Bodine. Meanwhile, Waltrip closes up. 316 of the 400 laps have been completed. If you're just joining us, a terrible crash brought out the red flag when Neil Bonnet went straight through the second turn outside returning fence. He is okay. That retainer just didn't hold on. It usually will bounce you back, return you onto the track. It didn't do it that time. He went like an arrow directly through it. The last man to do that here in Grand National Racing, Bobby Allison, who sailed off the first turn, Benny Parsons was mentioning he was right behind him. It's an awesome spectacle when you see one of these 3,700-pound cars just project itself right through that Armco barrier. Harry Gant is drawing away from Jeff Bodine. Remember, the 33 car is in 8th trying to make up a lap. The men in that lead lap in front of him are Earnhardt and Richmond. There's the leader, number 3. Sadly wrinkled in the front. The car looking glorious to Richard Childress, Kurt Shelmerdine at this point.
Glenn Jarrett has a question from down on pit road. Glenn, what kind of question do you have?
Well, Benny, I've noticed you've been talking about the different grooves that Dale Earnhardt has been running. I've been standing down at the end of pit road just at the entrance of the first turn, and I've watched Dale. He's really decelerating or letting off the accelerator a lot earlier than most of the guys, driving the car and letting it drift well up high into the turn, and then getting a really good bite coming off. You've driven here many times in the past, and I have too. When this racetrack gets slick, a lot of times the groove moves up like that. It looks like that's what Dale Earnhardt is using to his advantage right now.
80 laps to go as Earnhardt puts a lap on Ronnie Thomas in the 41, and you can see Ronnie Thomas take an extra chop at number 41 as he came off the 4th turn. Everybody has little handling problems at Richmond. It goes with the territory. Packed territory today. How comfortable is it out there for Dale Earnhardt in car number 3? This is what he told us earlier.
Well, it's a fairly short race, and it's comfortable. I've got my car set up to where, I can race hard and be comfortable, and, I'm in good shape, so, we'll be in good shape for Sunday.
Here he is, getting a little high that time as he did almost a peekaboo with the fence.
The trouble with running that high groove, you're exactly right. He's up right against that fence. Harry Gant started in the back of the pack and had to go in, change a tire, started behind everyone. He has passed almost everyone on the racetrack with the exception of Tim Richmond and the leader, Dale Earnhardt, and he's trying for Tim Richmond right now.
He sure is. There's Schrader on the inside. Richmond realizes the 33 is trying to take the lap back. And look at Gant use up every bit of racetrack as he goes after Tim Richmond. Remember that Gant in the 33 car is now shown in 8th position. NASCAR scoring has him in 8th. He's trying to get back up in that lead lap. 7 cars in the lead lap. And then this man, number 33. And here he is on a rim ride, high side, getting around Richmond all the way up there.
He was close to that fence that time.
One thing about it, it doesn't bother him.
No.
When we watch Harry Gant make moves like that, Ken, we're reminded that his Grand National, his Winston Cup career, is only 5 years old. Prior to that, however, Harry ran those bull-ring short tracks of the late model sportsman ranks for something like 15, 16 years. Now Harry Gant's in a Grand National car, and here at Richmond, he's really putting that short track experience to work. Bear in mind that he is a lap down, but he has now unlapped himself from the 3rd and the 2nd place cars, and he's looking up there to find old Earnhardt, and then Benny Parsons will get his wish. We'll see those 2 cars with their very different lines around this racetrack scrambling as Gant tries to unlap himself from the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
Gant's been around a long time. He started actually in 73, but it was in 1979 that he really got a firm ride. And it was first the car that number 47 Bouchard has. Then he moved on, got into this team or the whole team, and it's been going great. $1.9 million he's collected. $1.9 million in earnings in Grand National, and really it's been since 1979. There's the leader. 1980 Grand National champion. In 79 he was the Rookie of the Year.
Here's a race for about 4th spot. This is really a great race. Bill Elliott drives up on the outside of Darrell Walter going off the 4th corner. I couldn't get out of my mouth. They're side by side going in turn 1.
And they're closing up on number 5, Bodine in 3rd. That's going to be a 3-way battle for 3rd. Bodine right there in 3rd. Then number 11, Walter. And number 9, Elliott.
And Tim Richmond right in front of him for 2nd place. You know, we talked a moment ago, they talked to Barry Dodson, the crew chief on Tim Richmond's car. He said he thought that maybe they had a tire going down. What happened was it was the left side that they changed. It made the car too loose. The strategy backfired on them.
Gant needs a caution to gather it up. He is about 6 seconds back from the leader, number 3, Earnhardt. That's a long way to go with 70 laps remaining in the race. The battle is right here. There you see the 27 of Richmond, the 5 in 3rd spot. That is Bodine. There's the 9 of Elliott and the 11. These cars are all gathered up in the runner-up assault. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
We're standing here in the 5th is Travis Carter, the crew chief on Harry Gant's car. Travis, since that cut tire that cost Harry his problems, he's really been on the move. What seems to be the key to your success right now?
Well, my car seems to be going good. He hasn't said anything to us, but the car's worked pretty good all day. So what we needed to have is the situation we have right now where we have racetrack short down, where he can run where he needed to run. And I think maybe he might take the leader and perhaps get back in the same lap before it's over. So we're not out of it yet.
Okay, that's the story from Harry Gant's pit.
Travis Carter, crew chief for this band. Number 33, Harry Gant, 8th on the field. The leader, Earnhardt, has about 3.5, 4 seconds over the second place group. And that group is a big one. There's the leader, Earnhardt, in number 3. Bobby Allison is there, running many laps down. His car, number 22, the two-time winner of the race. And Elliott has crashed head-on at turn number 4. Bill Elliott, absolutely dead, head-on into the retainer in that brand-new Elliott car. The second top driver to have a serious misfortune today. Wide open off turn number 4, and it just turned on him.
He's been running that outside group for the last few laps. He really had it working well. He's moving around inside the car, trying to get himself unhooked and get out of that thing.
The caution is on for the 7th time today. In this most unusual, different, mysterious Richmond 400. First car on pit road was Lindley. Now the leader comes in, Earnhardt, followed by Gant a lap down, Richmond, Bodine, Waltrip, Terry Labonte all make their way onto pit road. There you see number 9, the winner of the 1985 Daytona 500 last week, where he collected $185,000, and also ran today, and they are sending the ambulance out to turn number 4.
Wonderful strategy this time. Dale Earnhardt and Harry Gant and Jeff Bodine get together on pit road.
And the 33 car is still there. He got pushed right up to the wall. Here's Gant coming out. And I don't think he's going to be very happy about that.
But two cars that time changed the left sides, and 3 cars changed the right sides.
Right at the area where the roadway is to cross the track is where Bill Elliott's car has wailed into the fence.
He's starting to crawl out. Yeah, he's crawling out of the thing right now. Boy, look at the crowd behind him giving applause they're giving.
Tremendous applause for Elliott, the guy that gives everything. What an effort he puts in. As does that whole family.
I'm Harry Mellon, the car owner. He's probably watching the show today from up in Jackson, Michigan. I'm sure he's glad to see that Bill Elliott is okay.
They've wheeled the ambulance right back down pit road to take its location at the first turn area as Elliott has clambered out and is now walking across the track. There you can see some of the residue from the car, the water coming across. It's a frustrated, tired Bill Elliott as opposed to the glory he felt a week ago.
Over as the cars go down pit road, and he's trying to cross pit road.
Bill Elliott's car being pulled off the 4th turn wall at the Virginia State Fairgrounds as our live coverage on Superstation WTBS continues, and the 1985 Daytona 500 won't be the first man since Cale Yarborough in 1977 to win Daytona and then come on to win at Richmond. It's a tough combination. That great old super speedway, world center of speed, and then the half-mile track, which is really the heart of American racing, like you see it every week throughout the United States throughout the summer. Here is a late report. Let's see if we can get a word on Bill Elliott right now.
We're standing here in the pits with Bill Elliott. Bill, it's a tough, grinding crash. What happened there?
Evidently cut a tire down. That's all I can say. It just went straight in the wall.
Well, it's too bad. It's a tough break. You really had that Ford running well. Are you okay?
Yeah, so far I'm okay.
All right, thank you. Sorry to see you have tough luck.
Just about the moment of impact right there as number 9 came to rest. Elliott's car whomping into the 4th turn wall. 337 laps complete. Sight you don't like to see. A runner like that could be a contender right to the finish. Runs so well.
Yes. You know, we talked about Tim Richmond a moment ago. It'd be interesting to find out if he, in fact, did have a tire going down. Because if he didn't, when this caution comes out, he was able to go in and change right sides. He now has the new right sides with the best left sides out there. Some of the other cars changed left sides, but they have worn right side tires. I tell you, the strategy of doing this and changing only 2 tires at a time is incredible.
Well, as they try to get number 9 off the barrier up here in turn 4, that persistent Jeff Bodine pulled up beside number 27, Tim Richmond. They talked all the way down the back straightaway. Now, Richmond is pulled back into second. Bodine is in third after those pit stops. Dance on the tail end.
Benny Parsons, the answer to your question on Tim Richmond's tires, they changed the outside right tires. That's where the leak was. They also checked the inside left tires, and they seem to be okay.
So he did, in fact, have a tire going down on the right side.
That pit stop scramble, Benny, and the strategy that you talked about has been a key factor here. This is the first time today the rule change has really made the whole crapshoot different, because what these teams would like to have done is changed all 4 tires for a final run to the checkered flag. They're not able to do that, so it becomes an evolutionary question. You've sought all day to find that combination, and maybe, just maybe, Tim Richmond is the man who has it. We'll know in just a few laps.
140 laps when they come around, and 60 remaining at Richmond, Virginia at the fairgrounds this afternoon. Earnhardt is first. Richmond in second after this caution period created when car number 9 bounded into the barrier at turn 4. And now Bodine is going to pit. Jeff Bodine, before they go back under caution, will make one more pit stop. We'll be back for the restart in the final laps of the Richmond 400. Very shortly. Here is Bodine coming in, checking those tires, pulling out a fender. We'll be back in a moment.
To race fans everywhere, Old Milwaukee means something great. It means the Old Milwaukee race team, racing at its best. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp, Old Milwaukee beer. And smooth, golden, Old Milwaukee Light. And Old Milwaukee Light. Tastes as great as their name. Yeah, it doesn't get any better than this.
Tomorrow morning, you will face a major contributor to most of the illnesses in America. It's called stress. And some medical researchers believe it plays a contributing role in 80% of all ailments. But researchers have also discovered that, among other things, a proper diet and regular exercise can lead to reductions in stress. And by reducing stress, you reduce your chances of becoming ill. So tomorrow, do yourself a favor. Make an effort to get some exercise. And above all, eat right. This Food for Thought was brought to you by Campbell Soup Company. We make all of these products, and we make sure every one of them is as good for you as it is good tasting. Campbell, we'd like to help more Americans eat right.
Better add 2 cans of Crisco to that shopping list, girl. 2? Yeah, regular Crisco and butter flavor. But, Mom, why do we need both? Say you're making this buttery cream frosting. Recipe says margarine, but I use butter-flavored Crisco instead. Because butter-flavored Crisco gives anything you bake more buttery taste than margarine. It's made just for cooking. Margarine isn't. Any recipe says margarine, use butter-flavored Crisco instead for more buttery taste.
This is Rick Barry in Indianapolis, Indiana, where a sellout crowd is filing in now in hopes of seeing their team pull the major upset, the second one in 3 days, when they go up against the Boston Celtics. And immediately following the conclusion of the Richmond 400, Bill Russell and I will be back to bring you all of the action of America's game. Right now, let's go back to the Richmond Fairgrounds Raceway and Ken Squire and Benny Parsons.
Rick Barry and Bill Russell out in Indiana as we prepare for NBA action later today. The Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers here on Superstation WTBS. Live from the garage area here at the fairgrounds. There's the front of car number 9, Bill Elliott's car. They continue to work on the outside of the track, 4th turn earlier as they brought the car in. That's when Bill Elliott's car was brought in, and he did move the front end back a bit on that one, Benny Parsons.
Boy, that right front tire looks like it's been pushed back a foot.
Last time Elliott didn't finish, Dover, Delaware last September, but it wasn't like that.
Well, it was at Dover, Delaware. He did something very similar to that. He really hit the fence hard at Dover last fall.
As hard as that, I thought that looked more brutal than what we saw there. Well, hard to say. Now, there's the front end on car number 9, and that is torn up.
That's the coil spring we see right in there. It's sitting on a, it's supposed to be on a straight up and down. It's on about a 45-degree angle. The frame is just completely mangled on the right front of that car. We've got Dan Elliott or Ernie, one of the brothers looking at the car.
What do you think happened, Ben?
Well, I think just like Bill said, he probably shut down the right front tire. And, you know, when that right front tire goes down, the car goes directly head on in the fence.
344 laps will be complete this time by. It's been hello walls all afternoon. Neil Bonnet, the worst victim, who went straight through it out of turn number 2 while leading the event. Bill Elliott was right up in contention in the top 5 when this incident took him away.
Well, as bad as Bill Elliott's is, he probably did not hit the fence quite as hard as Neil Bonnet because he probably was closer to the fence. In other words, the car didn't have enough time to get really aimed, where Neil Bonnet was right a ways from it. The car got aimed and went straight through it.
You're going to have one. You want to be as close to the wall as you can, so you can lean on it. If you're down 4 or 5 feet, it'll hook you and really throw you. Now, this fence is one of the older fences. This goes back a few years. Most tracks today have like a concrete barrier. Many tracks today have concrete barrier around it. So when they get into it like this and tear it up, you have this kind of a situation.
The one problem that Paul Sawyer, the promoter here, has at this speedway is he doesn't own the ground. And a concrete fence all the way around this thing is probably worth $300,000-$400,000. So very expensive proposition, but yet we're going to have to do something eventually.
345 laps complete this time by. And
well, Ken and Benny, I think that one of the things that was interesting about what happened to Bill Elliott was that I noticed the last few laps he's been running as high on the track as anybody. And what Harry Gant told us earlier, the people who run high at this point in the race are going to pick up debris and cut down tires. I wonder if this is what happened to Bill Elliott.
That's a very good point, Jerry Garrett, and I think that's exactly what happened to him. He did get up high, and, you know, Dale Earnhardt is running extremely high, but that's a chance that you take. You get up in that debris. That's where the cars have been throwing the debris all day. You get up there, a tire runs over a piece of metal, you cut it down. Most of the time, you're lucky. You feel the car going down, you come and make an unscheduled pit stop, such as Harry Gant did. Bill Elliott wasn't that fortunate. The right front tire blew, boom, through the fence he went.
so here's Dale Earnhardt counting those laps off. He would love to work on that fence for the rest of the afternoon. That'd be just fine with him. These folks sitting out here in the grandstand wouldn't be too tickled about it, though.
He was a Harry Gant fan, wasn't he?
Dale Earnhardt, who finished 6th here a year ago. 2nd in 83, 4th in 82, 7th in 81, 5th in 80, right up there all the time. Back in 79, had a 13th place finish after he came out and qualified 4th. Runs well on this track, but just hasn't put it together to win it. Is this today when all that is altered? Let's take a look a little further back in the field. Here's one of the new teams, Bobby Hillin Jr. out of Midland, Texas. I believe he's the youngest driver here today.
He's got to be. I think he's, what, 20 years old?
20.
20 years old.
He and Clark Dwyer.
Yes. The car is owned by the Stavola brothers out of New Jersey. Put a team together. It's down in Harrisburg, North Carolina, and got a lot of people who used to work for me on that team. Ronald Purrier, the engine man, J.C. Elder, the crew chief, you know, Suitcase Jake, been around for many, many teams. He's the crew chief for young Bobby Hillin, and he is exactly the crew chief that a Bobby Hillin needs. So much knowledge in his head that he can pass on to a younger driver like Bobby Hillin.
13th place runner on the field right now is Bobby Hillin. How about it, Dave Despain?
Darrell Waltrip, Ken Squire. Last year he led 365 laps of this race, and you recall they ran out of tires. Under the old rules, they could change as many as they want, as often as they wanted all day long, and Waltrip used up every tire they had here and lost the race on account of it. Well, now they haven't used very many tires on Waltrip's car. Junior Johnson, the master short track builder, says the setup is okay, but he says we could sure use a new set of lefts. They can't change them because of the rule. They've already changed their 2 tires under this yellow flag stop.
he feels that a lot of people could use lefts for what is now boiling down to about a 40-lap run, it looks like, for the checkered flag here. In my mind, the key question is these two guys. Richmond has had the good tire setup all day. Earnhardt, the leader, has been fighting the tires ever since he had that early incident and they had to make the change, and there was the question about that right front. But he's scrambled his way back. Now it's all going to come down to one roll of the dice at the end of the race. Who's got the line? Who's got the combination? And perhaps most importantly, who's got the tires?
Lap to go, and they'll be back under green. A lap remaining. Tow trucks coming in, and the work unit been up here in turn number 4. As we get set to go, and you see them bunching with Butch Lindley's car. Down on the inside is a lap car, Labonte behind him. On the outside, you see Dale Earnhardt, and then the maroon and gold number 27 of Richmond, followed by Walter.
This is it, Ken. This is it. I mean, 50 laps to go. No more caution flags, hopefully. And whoever has the best setup right now, who has used the best strategy, is going to win.
Quick report from Jerry Garrett.
Well, Ken, I just heard from somebody on the pit crew for number 9, Bill Elliott's car. That car may be destroyed. That's a brand new short track car. They don't think they can fix it. Now back to green.
Indeed, 349 laps in the book, 51 to go as they hook and haul down into turn number 1 with number 3, Earnhardt out in front. Let's see what Richmond has to show right now. And Waltrip is back there in third, trying to move around the lap car of Butch Lindley, which he does. They go into turn 3. Waltrip moving in.
Oh, look at Richmond come right up. Richmond, I think, has got a good combination going right now.
Running fourth overall in the field is number 47, Bouchard. Ron Bouchard is still very much in the race, as is Kyle Petty. Kyle in for a great day in that Wood Brothers car, and the Wood Brothers out on short track. That's something to see. Number 7, Kyle Petty, maintaining 5th position for the lead. Earnhardt, pressure's on him as number 27. Tim Richmond settles down and takes him in the first turn. Even on a half mile, they sure do get it on. Back straightaway, drawing away, taking a breath. It is Earnhardt by 2 car lengths. Back comes the 27. Richmond off turn 4, closes it down to 1 car length, bobbles just a little. Waltrip in the catbird seat, number 11, maintaining that 3rd spot. Drops below the white line in turn number 1. Waltrip looks good here, Benny.
I think that right now, I think that Richmond's in the best position to win the race, but what's going to happen when Earnhardt moves up high, when his tires get hot and he moves up, I think Richmond's going to stay on the bottom. He's got a good shot at this race right now.
Bodine is in 6th, 6 cars in the lead lap. Gant is in 7th, Terry Labonte is in 8th. Marcus in speed, 9th and 10th. Waltrip moving in. How many times have you seen him in this position, and all of a sudden had just another card to play late in the going? 354 of 400 laps now complete. 5 car length advantage. Enjoy as he dove into number 1, and again it evaporates a little, draws away. That Childress car really showing some power off the corners.
Tim Richmond is just not getting off the second corner like he should. I don't know. I can't see exactly what the problem is. He does have some problem getting off that corner.
Will this be his 12th national win for number 3? Earnhardt back in the first turn.
Dale Earnhardt, we mentioned early in the race, Benny Parsons alluded to it too, when the tires start to heat up, when they're worn down, this is the guy that goes. This is the guy that gets on the gas. This is the guy who can get a loose race car around a track like this. Tim Richmond, in contrast, as his tires seem to heat up, he begins to pull back a little bit. He's losing ground, and he's got his hands full with Darrell Waltrip.
Waltrip goes for the inside on 27, going into turn number 3. Last car in front, the Chrysler. Off the corner, number 3 stays and begins to build up a lead. Boy, Earnhardt's getting with the program now. He draws away to a 9-10 car length advantage.
He really is. I'm surprised. Shows you how smart I am.
358 laps are now complete. Who would have believed it? Now here's number 11. Waltrip realizing, he's being told on the radio that number 3 is beginning to get some distance on the 27. He wants to dispatch that 27 and go after Dale Earnhardt in the last moments of this race.
If Waltrip's going to win this race, he's got to get by Richmond pretty soon. And he's trying hard.
Around turn number 4. shadows getting a little lengthy here now. As you see Earnhardt's advantage, and there's the battle for second. Tim Richmond there. Waltrip with him. Tim Richmond has the reputation of being a bit of a wild man out of that track.
This racetrack, you can be a wild man and be very conservative this racetrack because it's slick and there's bumps coming off the corner that makes the car go sideways and makes the car push.
Number 70, McDuffie, who was in the pit area for some time, is back on the track trying to pick up a few more dollars. The Sanford, North Carolina driver. And Butch Lindley has been in the pit. They're going to bring his car back out for the final moments of the race. McDuffie goes a lap down to the leader. Still in second place, and now another factor begins to appear. 47, Ron Bouchard out of Fitchburg, Massachusetts, lying fourth, is closing on both Richmond at 27, Waltrip at number 11.
I think that Glenn Jarrett has something from the pits. Glenn? Yes, Benny, I talked with Richard Childress, the car owner for Dale Earnhardt. He's in contact with Dale on the radio, and Dale said the car feels very, very good right now. That's the reason he's able to pull away from the field as he's doing right now. So Dale is very comfortable with the way the car is running right now. Whatever that team has done today has really been worked well, because I think Earnhardt has led the most laps and has consistently had one of the top running cars all day.
Kyle Petty in fifth. Bodine back to 6th. Marcus 7th. Labonte 8th. Gant is 9th. Lake Speed 10th. Lindley 11th. Schrader 12th. Bobby Hillin 13th. Lenny Pond 14th. Clark Dwyer in 15th. 6 cars in the lead lap. Average speed after 6 caution periods and 1 red period today stays at 69 miles an hour on this half-mile track. Stay tuned. For the NBA is next on Superstation WTBS this afternoon. Celtics and the Pacers coming up. 365 laps complete this time by this 400-lap encounter. There's Waltrip, and now you see the Bouchard, number 47, clambering up into this last-ditch assault on the old half-mile at Richmond.
The crew chief for number 47 is Wayne Baumgartner. He's manning the crew for Ron Bouchard, who's currently running in 4th spot and closing right up on that 2nd and 3rd place battle. Wayne must not be talking to his driver, because Wayne says we can't make a run at him. We've got too much sway bar on the car, a suspension reference. He says the car is pushing real bad, and there's no way we can make a run at him. He obviously didn't tell Ronnie Bouchard, because push and all, Bouchard has charged right up there and made that a 3-car race for 2nd place.
Flyer bangs into the wall. Number 3, the number 64 car, Clark Dwyer, snags the wall at the 3rd turn. Caution is out. That's the 8th caution of the day. 367 laps complete, 33 to go. This ought to bunch him up for one last time with 6 cars in the lead lap. Seldom do you see a half-mile race with this many strong contenders still there. And Bouchard in the 47. Let's see who's going to be the gambler. If they'll all come in now. Indeed.
And, you know, Clark Dwyer pulled across pit road right in front of him. Almost blocked pit road.
Richmond scoots out into the lead.
Boy, this is a battle of pit. This is a battle of pit crews. The guy that gets out in front just might be the winner.
Waltrip's car is on pit road. Bodine is there.
Waltrip is changing lefts. Earnhardt is changing rights. Bodine is changing lefts.
Richmond stays on the track at 1st.
Waltrip and Richmond stayed on the racetrack. More strategy.
Think he wants to gamble those tires home? Doesn't look like he's going to drop in. I believe Barry Dotson told him to stay out there. 75 Lake Speed pits. 10th place car is in. 368 complete. 32 to go.
Car number 27.
A lot of fellows holding a lot of cards in this play.
Same thing as Robert Marcus and Eric
Benny Parsons, question for you. Isn't there a theory somewhere in the NASCAR driver book that says in a late race situation like this that the leaders play follow the leader? In other words, if one goes in, they all go in?
Well, that's exactly right. That's normally what would happen. The crew chief would tell you, you would ask him going down the backstretch, do you want me to pit?
He said, do what the leader does. Well, the leader made a pit stop, but Tim Richmond didn't.
But how long will those tires stay strong? What, 6 laps, 8 laps?
Not long. I'm afraid not long enough, but you know, they're rolling the dice. But that's what the tire rule does, and that's what we talked about at the top of the show. Strategy. This is a perfect example of it. We have one car that stayed on the racetrack, 2 cars that changed right side, and 2 cars that changed left side.
$262,000 at stake. Who's going to take the pot? We're going to find out very shortly. 370 laps complete next time, 5:30 remaining in the event. Tim Richmond electing not to pit before this record crowd gathered on a golden day in Virginia. Second place man after the pit stops has taken place is Earnhardt. Earnhardt second, Waltrip third, Bodine fourth, Bouchard fifth, Kyle Petty in sixth. 6 cars in the lead lap.
And next week they have competition just like this at Rockingham, a 1-mile racetrack.
We'll be back with more, the finale of the Richmond 400 after these messages.
Can you believe it? JT with an $18 million contract?
Sure is a long way from the playground.
Think he still drinks Strohs? Yeah.
Hey, guys.
JT, man.
Richard. Timothy.
This is all right.
Glad he didn't forget his friend.
Or it's Strohs. Where is the Strohs?
Out by the pool.
The pool?
Strohs and Stroh Light.
Now that's a cooler.
Fire brewed for smoother taste.
Racing. From the inside, no one covers it like Auto Week. Auto Week makes you an insider at the world's great race circuits every week. In the pits, behind the scenes, even in the cockpit with racing driver columnists in Formula One, NASCAR, and kart. Inside coverage just days after the race. And Auto Week puts you inside the world's most exciting cars, right behind the wheel. Auto Week takes you inside the whole automotive scene. Personalities, great cars of the past, columnists with inside scuttlebutt. Let Auto Week make you an insider, too. Call for a year's subscription to Auto Week. 52 issues at the basic price of $23. Just 44 cents an issue. Call 1-800-554-1800. And get this $10 Auto Week fender cover absolutely free. Call right now. 1-800-554-1800. Let Auto Week make you an insider, too.
Oh, my arm.
Rub something on it.
I got Ben Gay. I don't want to go back to work smelling like Ben Gay.
Don't. Try Sports Cream. It smells nice and clean.
Does it work?
Sports Cream has a strong, clinically tested pain reliever. It starts to penetrate immediately to relieve sore muscle pain.
No workout today?
Sure. I feel great. Why?
You, usually smell like Ben Gay.
Not anymore.
Sports Cream, the fast-acting pain reliever that smells great.
This is Rick Barry from Indianapolis, and the players are finishing their final warm-ups, and by the hand that Larry Bird got when he came out on the court, this is probably going to be like a home game for the Boston Celtics. Bill Russell and I will be back to bring you all the action of America's game at the conclusion of the Richmond 400. Now back to Ken Squire and Benny Parsons.
We are back under caution at Richmond, Virginia. Darrell Waltrip is in the pits, and the reason is car number 47 that just spun up in turn number 3. There you see Ron Bouchard's car just flat went away on him, Benny.
Well, what happened was that a moment ago, Clark Dwyer blew an engine going in the third corner. They put oil dry, an oil absorbent down to take the oil up. Ron Bouchard got in that oil dry, which is a very slippery. If there's a bunch of it there, he got in that in the right rear tire and lost the car, but luckily did not hit anything and didn't even lose a lap.
373 laps complete. Bouchard is pitted back on the track, and still Richmond gambles on winning this race without that final stop for tires. Tim Richmond out of Ashland, Ohio, leading the event. There you see Kyle Petty running just in front of Bouchard now. Kyle Petty in fifth as they bunch him up and get set on a restart. 71 will be on the inside. Dave Marcus, a lap or two down, and right behind him is Harry Gant, and Gant really wants to get back in that lead lap and gamble on one more flag. On the outside, Tim Richmond. Tim Richmond in first. Earnhardt second. Bodine in third. You saw Waltrip quickly come in. Let's go quickly to Jerry Garrett.
Well, we just asked Richard Childress, the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt, whether it was smart or dumb that Richmond stayed out on used tires. He said, time will tell. We think it was dumb because we can go a lot faster on new tires than he can on old ones.
25 laps to go. Pace car is coming in, down for the finish at Richmond. Here they come, clambering out of turn number 4. Flag comes on.
Kyle Petty has a right front tire flat. He's in the pits.
Bad break for Kyle Petty. Here he comes, down on pit road. Right front tire down after this extraordinary run that he had made. Up in front, Richmond in first, Earnhardt in second, Gann on the outside, trying to get that lap back. 71 Marcus stays just in front of him. Bodine is third, Waltrip from fourth. 377 to 400 complete. Battle for the lead. Richmond and Earnhardt. How about that one, Benny?
Darrell Waltrip and Jeff Bodine almost got together coming off this second corner. Darrell Waltrip now has 4 fresh tires.
Car number 7 comes back on the track. Kyle Petty is back on the track, and I thought he was dragging a piece of metal on the right front side of the car as he came on. Leaders, 27 and 3. In-car camera from the Skoll car number 17. There's the field, thundering around this half-mile track late in the afternoon. Another car spinning, and it is the camera car, number 17. Bill Parsons looping in the identical spot that first we saw Clark Dwyer have come.
Go on, stay on the track. Go on.
You hear the crew telling you to bring that car around. Change the front end on it a little. 380 laps complete, 20 to go.
Now is somebody going to make a pit stop and change the tires again?
Well, so far the luck is held with number 27 Tim Richmond.
Now this is what the rule was made for. We have seen in the last few laps what the rule was made for. Because under the old rule, the existing rule before today, on these caution flags, each team would have put on 4 fresh tires. Now, they take a gamble. They gamble on 2 tires. And that's the reason they did it, because they're trying to save these teams some money.
Bud Moore said it would save him about $45,000, the cost of a car.
Exactly right.
In 1 year.
Tim Richmond has gambled on staying out there with hot tires. He would otherwise have pitted and changed about 8 tires in the last 20, 30 laps.
Well, it was car number 17, the Skoll car, with Bill Parsons that spun. And let's look at it from inside the car as he went down in that area where they were having some real problems. Turn number 3.
He just loses it going in the 3rd corner. Around he goes. When we see all that smoke, he stands on the accelerator trying to get it to do a 360 and get going the other direction, but it didn't work. Back in the finish. Now they tell me we're going to be able to. He goes to the pits right now.
Phil, we're going to get you right back.
He is back in. This is a live picture now. We watch car number 17 come back on pit road. Laps 381 of 400 complete. 381 complete. Richmond gambling on tires that are a bit more used than others. Stays in first. Earnhardt stays in second. Then a couple of lap cars will drop on the inside. Harry Gant being one of them. And Dave Marcus the other. And Gant, of course, praying that he could get out in front of the 27th, the inside shot, get one more caution and come around to fight with him before the end of the race. The 3rd place car is number 5, Bodine, and then comes number 11, Waltrip.
This is what it looks like from inside the car. When he's steering the thing. Their car went by on the inside. Oh, we hit the fence. The little jolt was when we backed in the fence. Not hard. And the car comes to a rest. I feel like an absolute victim.
Down for the finish. 382 now complete here at the Virginia Fairgrounds. From the Skoll helicopter, these pictures. Back in a moment.
Presenting beauty in motion. The revolutionary Dodge Lancer. Its fluid lines are graceful. Captivating. sleek body glides through the wind. Lancer's entrances and exits are unbelievable. Its interior spacious, with virtually every comfort and electronic convenience available. And if all this beauty doesn't move you, the rhythmic beat of Lancer's engine will. Fuel injected with optional turbocharger. Dodge Lancer, because performance is everything.
I love losing weight, but I hate counting calories. With a full-time job and taking classes, who's got time to count calories? But Slim Fast helped make losing weight easier because it counts the calories and you lose the weight. Each delicious shake is a complete weight loss meal with vitamins, minerals, protein, fiber, and bran. What an easy diet plan. Slim Fast counted the calories and I lost the weight.
Slim Fast helps make losing weight easier. It counts the calories. You lose the weight.
Me and the crew, we're taking this road across Alaska. Working the last frontier, it's different. But when this road's finished and it's on the map, we can say we did that.
It's for guys like T.J. Donahue that we make every Budweiser the best it can be. Beechwood aged and brewed with the kind of pride T.J. puts into his work. So to T.J. and all you guys out there like him, this Bud's for you.
385 laps will have been completed when they combine this time, leaving 15 laps to be run on this half-mile track here for the Richmond 400. Tim Richmond stays in front. Will he put his name on this race and record his 5th win, his first since North Wilkesboro last year? Immediately following the conclusion of the race, we're going direct to the NBA for the Pacers-Celtics game, but stay with us, for at halftime, we'll bring you the winner's interview. The winner's interview at halftime of the NBA games. Race with a period under red has taken a far longer period than had been expected. You know you want to see the winner's interview, so it will be shown in the halftime of the NBA game today. It's a long afternoon, but it's been an exciting race. It looks like we're building to a sensational finish. Coming around, pace car is about to come in and turn them loose. Tim Richmond making the big gamble on tires, stays out in front. There's the green flag. And as we go racing, Earnhardt comes after him and immediately dives to the inside. Earnhardt making a play for first place at turn number 1. It is Earnhardt right into it, down to the bottom. And Dale Earnhardt taking advantage of those tires on the outside. Jeff Bodine pulls up and goes into turn number 3 in second position. Wild racing further back in the pack.
I think Richmond has a flat tire. As a matter of fact, I'm sure he's got some kind of problem.
Tim Richmond getting nailed as he went down into turn number 1 as Earnhardt went through. Richmond stays high. Here's Waldron trapped further back. He's behind Marcus. Laps running down. The leader is Earnhardt. In second spot, Bodine. And it could be decided between these two. 387 complete. Back onto pit road, Phil Parsons. Richmond stays on the track. Back straightaway. Earnhardt, who just threw that car onto the bottom of the racetrack, leaned on Richmond and went out in front, is now your leader. With Jeff Bodine in second, 2 car lengths back. Here they are at turn number 1. Next time by, there'll be 10 laps to go. There's Tim Richmond.
He's way off the pace, way off the pace.
Falling back, the man who had led it, Bobby Allison, taking a lap back from him.
The crew looks like they're getting ready on pit road. I would expect him to come in from pits. Yes, he's coming down pit road.
Here is Glenn Jarrett on pit road.
Okay, Tim Richmond is in the pits now for a stop. You can see he does have a flat tire. It looks like the right front tire has gone flat. He must have cut it on that restart. Tough break for Tim Richmond.
Yep. Problems as they try to get out, but it's academic. Tim Richmond, as far as his winning this race, it's all over. It's up in front between Earnhardt and Bodine. And Bodine, who's waited out the afternoon, is now within striking distance. This time by 392 laps complete, 8 laps to go.
And Darrell Walton's coming. He's gaining on the pack. He's only a few. He's got the freshest tires out there, and he's not that far back.
Well, he's 10 car lengths back, and with 7 laps to go this time, That's going to be hard, as you can see the interval there on this half mile. Here they are off turn number 4. Bodine likes this size track. Let's see what he's going to do with it. He may be saving it up for one more. Shot off the bow. Here he is, number 5, Bodine. Ready to draw that straight shot and go in to take number 3. Maybe an inside move in 1. Maybe he'll try the outside. Here they are off turn number 4.
Bodine is getting the car just a little bit out of shape getting off the 4th corner.
Benny, you're right. Look at Waltrip in the 11. Close right up in there.
He's right there. He's only 5 car lengths behind right now, Ken.
There will be 5 laps remaining. This time by Waltrip noses down into turn number 3 as he closes up on those 2 leaders. But it's a long way to go to first overtake and then overhaul.
Anybody can win this thing right now. There's 3 cars and either of them could win it.
Back in turn number 1 through 2. Bodine looks like he can hold a tighter line off the first and second turns. Back straightaway into 3. Bodine looks to the inside. 4 laps to go. This time by. Earnhardt stays first. Bodine, who won 3 half-mile races, inches in.
He tried it in. He started to go inside. The advantage that Earnhardt's got right now is that when Walter gets up there, hopefully he will start racing with Bodine and give him some leeway.
Here they are off turn number 4. And now it is show and tell. Into the first turn before a packed house has seen a great race. Earnhardt trying to hold on for the victory. 3:98 complete this time by. Number 90 tags the wall up in turn number 3. Kenny Schrader comes across. No caution on the track. No yellow out. Schrader tagged the wall in 3. He pulls on pit road. The leaders go back into the first and second turn. 2 more circulations and it's over for $262,000. Working that steering wheel. Car number 3. Dale Earnhardt stays in front. Here he is coming around. White flag is about to appear. Number 11, Waltrip, closes in. As they go to the first turn, Waltrip onto Bodine. Earnhardt draws away by 4 car lengths.
And Darrell Waltrip is going to try it on the inside, going in the 3rd corner. Bodine shuts him off.
Last lap, off turn number 4 to win the Richmond 400. It will be, for the first time in his racing career, Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt has done it for the Richard Childress team. Magnificent performance by Earnhardt all afternoon after he almost ran out of luck early in the going.
My hat's off to Dave Despain because at the opening of the show, he said Earnhardt's going to be the one. He was.
Dale Earnhardt is victorious. Finishing in 2nd place is Jeff Bodine. 3rd is Darrell Waltrip. 4th, Ron Bouchard. 5th is Harry Gant. And 6th is Terry Labonte. 7th is Dave Marcus. We're going direct to Indiana for NBA action next year on Superstation WTBS. The Pacers against the world champion Boston Celtics. That's coming up next this afternoon, and at halftime, we'll be back, and you'll meet the winner of this afternoon's Richmond 400, Dale Earnhardt.
Promotional consideration and production fee paid by STP Corporation, makers of Son of a Gun Cleaner, on the track and on the street. Depend on STP proven performance. STP, your car care company. And by Skull Bandits, individual portions of wintergreen flavored tobacco in neat pre-moistened pouches. With Skull Bandits, you take a pouch instead of a puff. And the Hanover House Best Western 24-hour restaurant buffet, Suzanne's Lounge. I-95 at Atley Elmont exit, 10 minutes north of Richmond, Virginia, 10 minutes from Kings Dominion. Live coverage of the Richmond 400 has been brought to you by Dodge, a front-wheel drive revolution, a turbocharged revolution, a performance revolution. Dodge, an American revolution. And by Budweiser, the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Cable News Network and CNN Headline News.